here, although we are trying to bounce currently back towards that 3,800 level for the S&P. Seems to be a bit of a sticking point. Once again, 2.7 here for the S&P right now to the downside. The Dow 1.8, 3.25 for the NASDAQ, leading the way so far. Not a great day here in Toronto either. 1.7 there for the TSX, 2% in Brazil. Crude is positive. Remember, crude was down 2.5% at one point today. So a big, huge bounce for oil. Lots of volatility still in energy markets. Bitcoin and Ethereum still struggling on the session as well. If you want to break it down into sectors, I mean, there's not much has changed. Still very red board, very red market right across the entire S&P. NASDAQ, much of the same. A little bit of strength coming through in some of the pharma names, but otherwise, yeah, another down day for the overall market. We got back into bear market territory for the S&P this morning, right out of the gate. We're trying to bounce out of it right now, 3,800 again. That prior low from the daily chart. If you go out to the S&P 500, hope your afternoon is going well. Welcome in. We'll take you right through to 4 o'clock. Lots to talk about this afternoon. So many things moving around today. So many things giving you excellent opportunities right out of the gate this morning, including some of the travel stocks. Almost a missed opportunity as far as travel is concerned to the downside this morning. We came in. That group itself was gapping down more than basically anything else. The cruise lines, the airlines, even the hotels and casinos really struggling out of the gate on this higher inflation. Obviously, higher inflation leads to higher interest rates. That means less leisure spending, which is going to directly impact some of the travel-related names. Macy's, some of the retailers under significant pressure here this afternoon. As we chop back and forth here between 3,800 and 3,775. We're going to get into a few of the opportunities that we presented to you right out of the gate this morning, including some of the tech names that were moving around, some of the travel names, as I said. Tesla was on watch as well on that 3-for-1 stock split. Sean is here, going to lead the way this afternoon with a look at one of his trades from this morning.
Hey guys, yeah, we're back with our trade of the day, and this one, little interesting one. We got a new symbol change, and it happened last week, and of course we went from Facebook over there to Meta. So the thing about this morning, and I want you guys all to look at the NASDAQ right here, you're down 3.5%, 4%, right? We opened up the day actually only down about 1.5% to 2% and started to move lower, lower, lower. When we sort of have that panic, we got to look for reasons. What do we want short? What kind of levels haven't broke yet? Where are we for respect to key levels? And here we go. Right now, this is 170. That little wick right down there on the daily chart for Facebook, 170. So let's look over and say, okay, now where are we going to trade this name? Well, here's Facebook. Look how choppy this is early. The important thing is we were asked the question, hey, is there anything that you've learned maybe in your last year, 2 years that you're doing differently now than we were before? My instant, response to that was, let's not trade the open as aggressively. Look how choppy this is on Facebook. Yeah, sure, it's great. If you get long right off the open at that 170 and then you start to rip it up, it goes to 172.50. That's a $2.50 move. That's huge. But instead, we just let it bounce around. Then as the NASDAQ started to peel off, started to come in, we were like, where do we want to go short? What is there something that's a key level? And we hit this actually 3 times going through that 170. We took the 170 break. Then we took a 169.90. Then we got a little higher than 170. Then it started to collapse in. Now you might say, well, look, this goes all the way down to 166. Sure, it does, right? But the point about what we're trying to do now is I'm scalping much more than holding on to a core position. And I'll talk about where I finally get the last piece out. But as this falls down, we let the market come in. And some of our best outs there, that's 169, 169.20, 169.25, 35. Really, no reason to get out. Why? Because we don't have any levels back here. That's 170. On the way down, we don't know how far it could go down. So I feel like I mistraded this a little bit. Too many names, too many shares out right there. But again, we try to hold that 20%. So we do it. We get 10% out here. Look at this drop. It actually comes back and retests 170 right there, right where we drew the line. That was a reload all day, which explains why I got out. Nervous, right? Comes back down. boom, and then an instant crash down into 168. So we actually have a 168.20 fill there. That was a great out. Then all of a sudden, we kind of let it settle down, and truth be told, wasn't at my desk for this. So we did have a stop order coming in once we broke that 168.20 again. There's the last piece out. Now we're gonna have to deal with it down to 167.80, as you can see right here on Facebook. So I just feel like when the markets are like this and you come in and it's like, the short is just printing, and you're a little bit scrambling. We did go long on Apple, but where is the relative weakness? Well, we found one in Meta today. You could see Meta down 4.5, the market only down 3.5, and we had a key level. So it's Facebook. It was well traded. We did have a good position on it. So Facebook's my trade of the day.
Great stuff. Yeah, lots of movement in this group this morning, including Apple, including Microsoft, including Meta. Amazon was on there as well. As we get the Fed coming up on Wednesday. Remember, at this time on Wednesday, in fact, we'll get that announcement. Will it be 50 basis points? Will it be 75 basis points? Tech stocks, growth stocks going to be under pressure regardless, as the cost of obviously borrowing money continues to go up. All of those were on the watch list this morning, guys. Make sure you grab that every single day before we come on at 8:30. Let's jump right into exactly what we were talking about here. I mean, look at Apple, look at Microsoft today, guys. Yes, they were down, but I mean, they are starting to hold up a little bit better than some of the rest here, with the overall market trying to bounce. Again, it might be, yeah, we're down a lot today, obviously, but it might be a little bit of a wait and see coming up before Wednesday.
Oh, look, 100%. The reality is, yes, Apple's down 2.5%, but the ES is down 3, the S&P 500 is down 3, the Nasdaq's down 3.5.
Yeah.
On a day like today, we say this all the time: relative strength is what matters. So today, relative strength is not being down 3%. Maybe it's being down 1%. Maybe it's being down 2.5%. Maybe it's just being it's above VWAP right now. You know, as a matter of fact, like just one stock I was just looking at here, and this is not to get off the topic of Apple, but I was watching Zoom. I might have just put it into the chat. Like, here's a name down 5% that had a breakout at 104, right at VWAP. It bounced all day long, all afternoon long at 104, and is now breaking back down, potentially breaking back down below that level. We've just reclaimed 3,800 on the ES, which was, you know, that's our double bottom on the S&P 500. That's a very significant level as well. So as that happens, show me something that's relatively strong. As we go below that level, what's holding above VWAP? As we break that level to the downside, what is breaking down? That's why I'm in Square, because quite frankly, and we'll go over it at some point, because crypto crashed, and I can't believe I didn't see Square at 65. But the only way to rectify that is to then find some shorts off of that later on in the day. I actually like this Zoom. If it's holds an offer below this 104, I think this is one. If the market's going to flush, you've got a clear room to sort of flip the script. Then you're back trading the $2 from the 104 down to this 102 area. And as I say that, AMD, which had given a good long off the bottom earlier, not just now. I just went 65s long, stopped out at 50. I'm not going to be stubborn about catching bids today.
Yeah.
We've sort of seen what's happened in the afternoon, and if we're below 3,800, I don't know many names that I like to the long side. Apple and Microsoft have held up pretty well. Outside of that, I've been hard-pressed to find anything that I like long when the ES is below that 38. When we've tried to break above, there's been some opportunities there, but we've rejected that level too many times to count today, too many times to count.
Yeah, we just, and welcome guys to the afternoon show. Thank you for watching. Please hit the like, hit the subscribe, everything like that. 300,000 subscribers, so very, very important to us that you do that. But yeah, we just tried AMD just literally right now. Right when we went on to do the trade of the day there, we were long and then just got stopped out right there on AMD. So yeah, we were trying to test out some of those longs and we just go right back into virtually the low of the day right now. I mean, AMD's low is 88.11. I mean, whether or not, you know, we get to that at this point, it's really a crapshoot. But, you know, coming back in, these names need to be shorted. The only name that we were strong on today, we initially started the short in Apple, we actually were up on Apple before we even went long. Then the long started to come in, and I always want to try to defend some of these bottoms. So right here on Apple, we get that 132.50. That's still the price that we're in. So we're into 132.75. Our best outs up here, 134. Apple, I believe, is going to have to hold this market up. I mean, statistically speaking, the 10% of the NASDAQ, also in the S&P, obviously, but the S&P has a little bit more work to do with financials and energy and things like that. But I like Apple long, and I want to see it come back into these levels down here, 132.60, 132.70. So that's where I'm going to be holding out. But yeah, tech holds, temporarily, I think, if we're talking about holding the market. I think there's a little bit of work to do here still.
Little one, MOGO, just popping up there on volume spike. I believe that's a mobile software provider. Let's go to Tesla here. A couple of things to note on this information that came out after market on Friday. So 3-for-1 stock split, we know. Down here, August 4th, mark that down. August 4th is going to be the day they vote on this stock split. I'm sure it will be approved, but mark that down. They also said, minor note here, Larry Ellison, co-founder of Oracle, leaving Tesla's board.
Larry Ellison. The interesting thing, it's been a while since he's been in the news, but certainly I don't know how big of a deal that story is, the Larry Ellison part. And I don't see any way that it's not going to be approved. Maybe there's something I'm not thinking of. Tesla was very frustrating. In this open, the reality is right at 9:30, you guys know how volatile it is and what liquidity looks like. Now, this wick isn't real. It didn't, from what I remember, when I was looking at level 2, we never actually traded to 697. I liked the 685 level. That's where I wanted to fade off of. And it's not really not that complicated. It was Friday's bottom was 685, and this did make that pop and fade. I just flat whiffed and missed the trade. So, by the time I got to it, it was like I'm like, I don't want to chase it $10.
Right.
Especially with what was happening at that 3,800 level on the ES. Like, we weren't breaking down at that price, so it was hard to chase it. I think it was the right call not to chase it, but it ended up being definitely wrong. I scalped it several times off 650 because that's all there was to do. And then it ran one of my stops here and actually did not have a stop at once when I thought I did, and took a hit based on that. And we're just basically looking at 650 again. The afternoon bottom is this $650 level. I think if the market makes a leg down, we'll be looking at the 650 breaking. Maybe there's some trades off of VWAP here. But this has not been a super strong name today. It got a good bounce in the middle of the day there. It didn't get anywhere near the levels I would have liked, at 685. But I think I should at least be respecting 670 at this point. That's where it tried to break out. From the pre-market, nice consolidation there, and we have a 670 top. So 650, 670, no diddling in the middle for me on Tesla, or much of anything, to be honest.
Whenever we think about cars, Tesla's obviously going to be a big one because of everything that Tesla means to everybody, what they mean to the EV space. But I look at a name like Ford and say, huh? Unless I'm missing something, which obviously I clearly am, this is down 7% today, Ford. So a big move to the downside here in a name that I believe should be bought at these levels. We've talked about this over and over again here on the show. I'm trying to find my daily chart here. Ever since I did that trade of the day, my charts have gone a little bit haywire there. Okay, here it is right here. So, here's the Ford trade. It's broken well below. As far as I know, they're on track, and I know they split their two divisions between the legacy, basically, the combustion engine, and then what they're doing on the new side of things here with electric. But as far as I know, the F-150 is still on track to get going, I believe, this fall. We could double check that. But I really like this name in a beat down name that's gotten absolutely hammered, like cut in half. And I get that they've made, divested a little bit in Rivian, and we can see the Rivian chart. That's been just as much of a nightmare. But I wonder if a lot of these older names, like a GM, like a Ford, have just been beat down to the point where you need to be buying them. You're getting these levels, and it's not even like they're that far back, but May of 2021 right now, down to $11. The other name that I had up before we're going to do any of this, I was going to talk about Lucid, because they still, as far as I know, the lockup is over. They still have the Saudi support, right? And so they're committed to buy 150,000 cars. The plant is getting ready to rock and roll in Saudi Arabia. So I think Lucid at these levels is pretty interesting. And I don't know, maybe the best way to do it is in the ETF. But like Rivian 26, Lucid 17, Ford 11, I just wonder if we close our eyes, Brendan, and we just, or Neil, and we just open up here.
Ford PE is probably 6, without looking.
I think GM's
GM's is 5.
Yeah, so that's I was gonna say. I thought GM was a little bit better than Ford, so let's just check
But
out
not
right
by
here.
much.
Nah, I mean they're the same industry.
same thing.
They're basically brother and sister. So let's just double check here. Yeah, well, I mean they're both. Yeah, so
Five,
Ford is
five.
5.95. GM probably the exact same thing here. So yeah, when you're looking at some of these names, yeah, exactly, almost identical. So I like to pick these up. I mean, I'm not going to type in, you need to have profit, so I'm not going to type in Rivian or Lucid. But, you know, as you go, I just feel like some of these names, Brendo, need to be bought at these levels. And if you want to dip in, I think Lucid, Fisker, Rivian, they all have some benefits. But in a raising rate environment like we know is probably going to go to 75 points, maybe we should check that Fed rates.
That's been all over
right
the.
now.
It's been
all over, when we had it
everywhere
this
today.
morning. So it went from last week was 98%, Brendan, that it was going to go the half point, to I think now it's 60 you gave us this morning. Neil's going to have
gotta
it
refresh it
if and when this loads. Neil has it on his screen there.
Refresh.
Looked like it was 65 again there.
No, but now 70.
70. So it's getting more likely that we're going to go half a point, but I feel like there is still a chance at 75 there, which hits the Rivian and Lucid and all these names, but you still have a name like Ford that's making money, so maybe they got hit a little bit too hard here.
Yeah, flying around as much as stocks right now is that tool. Frank Kaberna coming up here in, a half an hour or so. We'll get his take on, obviously, what's happened with yields today, like monster moves on the 2-year, the 10-year, affecting the banks as well. So we'll talk to Frank about that. We'll talk to Frank about the U.S. dollar, right back to highs once again after we saw that pullback over the past couple of weeks. I mean, crude oil positive on the day here as well after hitting 119 and change here, guys. So lots to consider, including travel stocks. I mentioned, like by far out of the gate this morning, the weakest group to the downside. There was barely a bounce. I just pulled up CCL here, still down 10% on the day. All of the cruise lines, all of the airlines, even the hotels and casinos looking similar.
It's CCL just a quick second here because I did get into some Microsoft, and look, I know
I
Microsoft.
was just looking at that.
I know this 244 level. It's a quadruple bottom now, and it just happened. We're just bounced off this level. Look, maybe it holds, maybe it doesn't. But there's a few names out there that make some sense. AMD 88 we talked about this morning. Softy 244. CCL didn't give. I don't think it gave anybody what we're hoping for.
You want an apple fritter?
What kind of a dumbass question? What?
I don't know.
Yes.
Sometimes it's too okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean,
because
if you
I
ask
told-
me, do you want an apple fritter? It's actually confusing to me.
Yeah, I
because
get it. I get why that
is there a
happened.
trick? Was that a trick question? Are you trolling me?
Sometimes it's a no. Like you feel like you've had too much sugar. I don't know. All right, dumbass question. Move on. Sorry. The reason I'm asking is because I told
I
Tony.
didn't mean to say dumbass, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay, let's move
If you
on.
if you ask me if I want an apple fritter, then look.
I'm doing it because Tony's mentioning that he's going to Tim Hortons. So I was like,
he
grab
is?
me a coffee. So I was, I'm trying to get you fulfilled.
Yes.
with
Okay.
that.
So thank you very much, Tony.
Really dumbass question.
Apologies in advance for eating on air, but anyways, I'm going to have an apple fritter, so deal with it.
Well, no, I don't know because he messaged me about 5 minutes ago before I did my piece. So he may be gone, but
Hold on a second.
Tony.
Okay, so two things.
Yeah.
First things, don't
things
pull the
first.
rug on an apple fritter. That's
Yes.
kind of me.
That would be on me again. Dumbass question.
The second thing is, Lucas just came in my ear and he said to me that a honey cruller is better than apple fritter. So first off,
Lucas did that.
That is absolutely incorrect, Lucas.
Wow.
I love Lucas. Lucas is a great,
by the way,
he's a great
13
kid,
seconds.
he's just wrong.
I was listening to a podcast and someone said.
Don't bring that up, please.
What?
13 seconds? Why are we doing this again?
What is it?
The Bills, 13 seconds?
No. Oh, that's another thing. No, they said the best. Here comes Tony. He's in the building right now. Thank you, Tony. I screwed up because I asked him about an apple fritter and he said yes.
Oh, he said yes. All right.
No, you don't have to go back and get it.
Don't go.
Okay, I think he's going to go anyways.
Tony, don't do it, man. Don't do it.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, don't
Tomorrow.
do it.
Yeah, thank you, Tony. I got you back for this. No, they said that the ultimate, and I don't know if there's been a test on this, but you want to reheat the apple fritter, and I meant to come to it with some goodness on the show. Microwave, like a traditional microwave, they said it's 13 seconds. So I want to get your opinion. I prefer them heated up.
Any fresh pastry, it should be. You want it to be warm. I don't know about 13 seconds because everyone's a little bit different.
Yeah, it was like a traditional microwave. So I don't know if you guys in the chat there had an opinion on anything like that.
I'm sure you guys didn't catch what just happened though. He said 13 seconds, and my mind immediately went to the Buffalo Bills versus Kansas City.
And I apologize for that.
13 seconds on the clock, and I was like, don't even say. That's like.
I mean, what that defense was up to. I mean, let's not get.
Don't say wide right.
Let's not
Don't
get
say
involved.
13 seconds to me, otherwise I get triggered. There's very few things in this world that actually, I'm not like that. I don't get triggered
Thanks,
easily.
Tony, by the way.
But it's the Bills, man. I don't want to think about it. This year we won the Super Bowl.
Jacked
Just got
up.
to reload on Microsoft again. It looks like 244.35 or quarters. That's your bottom. So just going to keep scalping it off that level.
Toaster
20,
oven.
30 cents, whatever we can get. And yeah, toaster oven. Of course you should use that to heat a pastry up.
Yeah, I mean,
but you don't always have the time.
Triggered. Neil's triggered for everything. Yeah, there's a few things that trigger Neil. I could get going right now and really trigger him.
You know what?
But I'm not. I don't want to.
It's the Buffalo Bills. It's pineapple on pizza. What else is
negativity towards the Blue Jays.
Yeah, but that's my team, man.
Exactly. I'm just saying, what will trigger you?
Yeah, just don't talk about my team.
Yeah, exactly. Don't keep your team out his mouth.
Yeah, don't talk about my team.
Except for, I mean, you're gonna think this is trolling. It's not. Even though this is a troll, this is not trolling. This is the official Blue Jays troll. I think the Blue Jays go back to the World Series, Neil. I have them to win 91 and a half games. So we are very excited about it.
The Yankees are pretty good.
Are we on the air? We are. Okay, Brendan. What's up?
There we go. Lucas, maybe not, but we are. We were just discussing, never mind, it's fine. Let's go to China, guys. Let's go to China. That would be fun. Chinese stocks under pressure this morning. I mean, what a couple of weeks they've had. If you look at a daily chart of Alibaba, we went from 85 to almost 130. So a little bit of a pullback warranted here, but this is a huge move, obviously, for Alibaba. What am I trying to say? Hugging $100 all afternoon.
There's one thing that I know we mentioned.
Brendan just said hugging, by the way.
Hugging? Well, it is, wait, yeah, isn't it?
It is. I like that word.
Hugging.
I like
Why
that
not?
word. Yeah, hugging. Yeah.
Softly caressing, but whatever. It definitely didn't hug the 200 period moving average, is what I wanted to say here. It rejected the 200. Look, the 200 got rejected like crazy, and we sort of mentioned this when it broke out from the 50. Like, have a look at how significant that was at 125, 126. Now there's nothing you can do about it this morning. All you could do was find an area to go short that made sense. For me, this 103.5 previous high, the price it gapped towards the 200. We came in and it was barcoding just above it. So when it broke down that 103.5, we're able to get a short. The mistake that got made here, and I think it's an obvious one for a day trader, is it got to 100 and I just started thinking long in front of 100. So instead of, it was a good scalp trade. Like, it actually worked off 100, played up to almost to 101. But then when it broke 100, I couldn't get back in. Like, it was at 99.70 really quickly. And then by the time we had a good retest of 100, I felt like I'd missed a trend and went over to a couple of other names. I think for the afternoon, I want to short in front of 100 if I can. If this stock is below $100, I want to be on the south side of it. So that's the level I want to work off of. I was able to get back into, get into square on some weakness. I think I want to play the weakness on Alibaba. It's down 10%, but quite frankly, what isn't? That SSR, like the number of names will be coming in tomorrow morning and looking at that a short sell restricted is going to be tremendous, because down 10% today is more or less nothing. Like, there's a lot of names that fall into that category, but you will have to watch that for tomorrow, because SSR applies to the day it happens and of course the day after, which will be tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay, so look, Alibaba was one of only 4 names on the sticky note. Coinbase short through 50, that didn't work. CCL short, that's there. Microsoft's there, Baba's there. So the only thing we had about Baba was the last couple of days, we had, I don't know if, was it Thursday? Was it Friday? Oh, Friday, yeah, Friday was a good day for Alibaba, because it did rip and then tank down in. So, we were all over this name when it got into near this 120 level. And I remember saying quite clearly there that it was just too far, too fast. We went from $80, all the way up to 125 in a matter of a week and a half. That was too far, too fast, regardless of the rate environment. That's just a monster move based on like rhetoric that the Chinese government is like now friendly and things like that towards listings. So I just, that to me felt a little too far. And then on Friday, we had the Ant news come through again about possibly, just regulators looking into the Ant Financial. That's again another wing of Alibaba that they were trying to spin off, that got denied earlier on in the year last year, and now they're trying to bring it back. This name, I've said this before, I don't think there's a better name by value out there if you're going to look in the tech space than Alibaba, to be quite frank with you, other than maybe Meta's there as well. Both carry severe risk, and I just think the BOBA risk, and again, a lot of people will say, and there's a lot more smarter people on this geopolitical news than me, but I worry a little bit after thinking everything that's gone through with Russia and Ukraine that I just don't, the time might be right for China. And again, like I said, this is not me thinking that China's going to go into Taiwan by any stretch of the imagination. It's just like a little scare, something like that. Like these stocks don't need long story short, these stocks don't need a reason to go down. If you're going to give them one, then just get ready for absolute destruction. Like what gave DocuSign a reason to go down? Earnings. Like a lot of these companies don't have earning power. They don't have the right.
For Bitcoin, not only over the weekend, but overnight, we are firmly holding below 24,000 on BTC right now after it rejected pretty hard off of 24,000 back to the downside. So all of the cryptocurrency related stocks were down significantly in the pre-market. We got even further flushes. There are a few that are holding up better than some. MicroStrategy down 20+% on the day, but actually holding higher lows at this point, guys, versus some of the other ones.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you get a chance, if you need to refresh your screen, I think I'll type it in the chat. Refresh.
I just put in the word refresh.
So
we back, baby.
We back.
Says Rosalind. What's up, Rosalind?
You can't keep us down.
Back.
We're not going anywhere. You can't try to cancel us. Look, MicroStrategy was one of the craziest movers today. There was a point where when it took out 150, it just felt like this was going to be done like dinner. But truthfully, like if you look at Bitcoin actually managed to get a bounce. Not a huge one, but there is a little bit of a bounce that just happened. It made a low, and once that happened, the recovery on MicroStrategy was pretty immense, right? Like this is a name, I think we said this towards the end of the show, it's going to outpace in volatility down at these levels, it's going to outpace BTC, I think. So like whatever volatility you see there, it's going to move more, but it's very thinly traded. But I think it might be worth taking some shots, because the 150 break, it's like you put the shares in, if you try to get the fill, if you miss it, fine. But if you got it, it was basically a free $5. Now, I think the approach I'd take next time is just to only cross down like 30 cents. And if you don't get the fill, then so what? Then just cancel the order. So I'm not chasing it $1 down. Maybe you chase it 30, 40 cents. But it got one heck of a bid. I think if I see a fresh low on BTC at any point today, I'll come over to MicroStrategy and think about 155 or 156 if that's getting taken out. But maybe not Coinbase, because Coinbase took a couple of shots at this to the south side. And look, I might have been able to hold on to the 52 instead of just saying, no, we broke it, get out. But that even gave you the VWAP at 50, and then it just rallied again. So I think if I stuck with that stock, I probably would have just ended up losing more on it, to be honest with you. Even if it did give you that one shot, 52 back into 50, it ultimately never reclaimed the 50 level, if anything. Coinbase has 50 as support at this point, I'd say.
All right, this is the time. I mean, yeah, crypto stocks. We talked about Coinbase. We looked at that a little bit. We can go over Coinbase, but I just want to go over crypto land in general. This is the portfolio that I look at here, and unfortunately, many of these names I own right now. But we have been trimming a little bit. We talked about that, but I'm still in here for the long haul. And honestly, I own some of that GBTC and ETHE, except for on the Canadian side. So I'm still here, and I don't want to give up on crypto by any stretch of the imagination. However, when you're looking at some of this destruction today, it's pretty bad. I mean, no matter where you look, I thought Solana was going to be like the next big project, that there's going to be a lot of ideas, projects, SelectNet, TestNet, so on and so forth for Solana, but that's down 25% in a week. I mean, crypto is not obviously adverse to any of these market moves. So when we come in today and we see little things, I mean, there's Chronos down. I mean, so many things. Litecoin down to $40. Like I said, I think on that fake Walmart news that happened maybe about a year and a bit ago, this thing went to 250. Like there's a lot of issues here in crypto land, but ultimately you're going to have to believe in it. Look at some of the projects, look at some of the ideas that are being worked on for some of those coins, and just pick your poison, right? When we actually had Sam Bankman-Fried on, I remember specifically asking him about all these projects, and that's when Solana was north of $100. he liked that, right? And again, not putting words in his mouth. He was on the show. I asked him about some of these things, but then he did specifically say, get it onto an exchange that you trust. I think that's important. So when we go over there, we talked about Coinbase a little bit here, right? Make sure that we had Binance. Was it Binance?
It was Binance.
Yeah, froze. I looked over there because Sharif, but you saw it too. He was talking about that. Froze accounts and things like that. So I think you really got to sort of test some of those theories out. Make sure you're on the right side of things there. Make sure you're trustworthy on that side. But here's today was a kind of a wild day for Coinbase, man. It started off real early with this short. We really were loving life on this one, man. It was 49. It went all the way down to 45. My best out though, 47. So that's $2. But then it ripped back up. We averaged in. We took a little bit out. So we averaged in. We got it back out. This is nowhere near as bad as it should have been, man. And then it took 52. Which was a level that we wanted to look at. That's 51.50. We wanted to up it a little bit to 52. It took that down, then came right back in again. So, some of these levels, very, very interesting. But right now, Coinbase still above 50. I think it's worth smashing if we break 50. Watch out for this to get even lower as the next couple of days come through, if and when crypto does not recover.
Just quickly, a few things here. AMD just broke 88. NEO was at 1602.
Jeez, 16.
Microsoft just broke 244. So I'm out of Microsoft. I didn't reverse softy. I'm looking for the 16 break on NEO, but I did take the AMD 88. We just go to the higher time frame. I know we were long off this a little bit earlier, but there's that big level on the 15-minute. That's AMD's bottom. I got 95s on that print. There's a bit of a bid on NIO at 16, but it's not huge. So, yeah, looks like we're taking another leg to the downside here. And there's still a few levels that held from this morning. I should have just taken the 244 on Microsoft as well. Didn't reverse that. I lost on the third long on Microsoft. It looks like we're headed southbound once again. But got AMD. NEO, I think, is going to be the next one. And this is already taken out the low. It's like you could have had the low break at 16.13. I'm waiting for the 16 even. I suppose I'm just missing out on 13 pennies, I suppose. Shouldn't have even waited. Just take out any bottom at this point.
Yep.
Okay, a few things as well, guys. The crude oil just closed. So there was a huge volume spike on the crude futures there, but didn't actually move. Also, market, as you said there, Neil, breaking back to the downside. There was some volume that came into Tesla. There was a note apparently, Elon saying Q2 has been a quote unquote tougher quarter for Tesla in an internal email. So big volume spike back to the downside there for Tesla.
It's been a tough quarter, huh?
Oh, man, oh, man. I mean, this dude was talking about 9 rate hikes. This dude's talking about Twitter fake bots. But the one thing that you're going to have to respect him on, obviously, is Tesla. I mean, this is his baby. I don't think that he would misquote anything on that. And I believe he's right on that. We just took a new position on Meta. I don't know why he said it was a little bit of a harder quarter. We do know the consumer, obviously, Neil, here has less cash than they ever had. So maybe that's a possible situation. Although Bank of America came out and actually said that some accounts actually are more funded now than they were pre-pandemic.
The question is how long that lasts.
Yeah, or is it discretionary? Like, are you going out and picking up that Tesla for $100,000 right now? Or are you waiting? Is there uncertainty about mortgage, your mortgage payment? Where are we going? I mean, the price of oil to me would have meant more Teslas being bought. But again, if the cash isn't out there to do that, then we got to watch out. But Tesla's just at 650, right? This is where we were earlier in the day, 650. So
it's still catching bids.
It's still trying to catch some bids. The smoke on Tesla appears to still be there. But again, the one thing and the reason why I talk about that smoke, wasn't it the story that today that was Larry Ellison, right? He stepped away from the board, and I kind of feel like, is that the canary in the coal mine with Tesla? Why did he step away? What's changed there? Does he not like some of the stuff that's coming out of his leader's mouth there? So I don't know, but Larry Ellison's gone, smart dude. I don't like that, and today you hear of issues now with Tesla coming from Elon himself, so you can't like any of these stories if you are a Tesla bull, but I'm a shareholder, so hard to say too many negative things, but hey, price action is king.
Yeah, you can't fight the price action today, and I think ultimately, let's get me wrong, I like the bounce on AMD at that 88, and we had taken it a couple of times, but at some point you got to flip into the short side of the trade, which I'm doing for the first time. I will just point out, while I was mentioning the ES we're below 38, the NASDAQ has at least held, it hasn't made a fresh low, and we're actually not even testing the fresh low on the NQ. Like, it was worse this morning. It's the ES below 3,800. I think as long as we're below that number, it's a little bit easier to start thinking about, okay, the momentum is still, you're making lower highs, you're still fading off. The afternoon, we've seen the story in these afternoons, that if we're below that number and I like any kind of a pullback, I'm going to be shorting the pops. I don't think we're going to get one for like the square position I have on right now. I don't think we're going to get one per se in block. But look, 65 is that line, and every time we get close to it, just to show you, I'll go to the higher time frame, sorry. This is 65 on block, and why I say this was probably, to me, the most embarrassing, forgot to go over this symbol, because all you had to do was see the chart, and if you saw the chart, you'd have seen 65 on the daily. That was that May low. I mean, it stuck out like a sore thumb. And then when it got there, look, you don't have to have the 68 short, but when it got to 65, look at how much time it gave you before it decided what it would eventually wanted to do below that price. And then it even retested it at lunch. And I'm not getting it until this pop here, but I'm going to try shorting some pops. I just got some more AMD here, and we'll see if this one, now that it's broken. I mean, the previous low was right here at about 88.13, and you had this nice consolidation off about 88.50. And I was long 88.50-ish each time, and then the last time we broke down at that price. I'm going to give it to that range on AMD, see if I can't find some places to step in there. Just think, if we hold below 38, I want to be shorting pops until that's wrong. You just mentioned Tesla. We just mentioned Tesla. It's once again above 650. So that price, for whatever reason, it gets really sticky around that price. And you're either scalping off of it or waiting for it to run away from it. I think that means 670. So I'm not that eager to jump into Tesla at this price.
It'd be interesting. We're going to have Frank Kaberna coming from the small exchange. That should be really interesting to hear what he has to talk about. I know the dollar's moving around, oil. I don't know if he's given Brendan sort of a rundown what he's going to talk about, Frank there, Brendan. But I'm interested to see what he thinks about the NASDAQ in general, some of the levels that are coming through. So maybe we can get him to look at that. But I know there's a plan of action for him. But right now, we'll be surprised because this move is happening here again. Every day, man, there's something that sort of gets me. And it's like today is just how volatile this NASDAQ has been. Like, look at this move back here, almost trying to take out day's high again, just at 11:30 when that move happened. And then you make a move all the way back into almost day's low again. And then we were just saying how low this market was going. And now we get a little bit of a spike back up above the 50 period again. So for me, very, very interesting action here on the NASDAQ. We are short, what name is this? Meta here against 168. Meta today down 5%. We already had a rocking short breaking through 170. I want to be short this name until that 170 is breached. Once that's the case, then obviously we'll get out of the way of this thing. But 168 right now is going to be my level. We're going to average up into it. So the next, even though I'm short right now, very, very small at 166.80. So we're out of the money 20 cents. I'm going to wait, guys, until we get to like 167.80, something like that, to use that 168. I don't even want to give it to 169. If we have to, we'll look at it once it gets up there. But for me right now, I'm very, very comfortable with this position. So let's wait to see what happens with Meta. We want to average into this one, just like you're on AMD right there. And we're still going to hold our Apple sort of shares tight to the chest right now in case there is a move back upside. You guys know I want Apple long down here. It almost came in. If it does, man, we'll defend that 132, but we need to get at least 132.50 before we go long on Apple again. We're holding a piece. We're shorting, which might be wrong Meta, but we're going to give that one a shot.
So just two very quickly here. First, I see CogT, guys, so we'll talk that one. Just don't forget what this stock did, and if you were watching it on Friday, it had an absurd wick through 10 even. I was long the stock in the morning, and then I tried the 10 short, and then this wick topped up to 11. Just an absolutely insane reversal at that price. So as it gets to that 10, I'm kind of expecting there will be some sellers as it gets there. I keep getting asked about FUV. This morning, it was a little bit spicy, and then it got to this $4 top. And this isn't necessarily as exciting to me until it gets to 420. Lucas and Fod? 420. So when it gets...
What's going on over there?
The crazy thing about it is,
I'll just do this.
I get so accustomed to, if I just even think that number, before I even put it there, they can just know that I'm going to talk about it, but I'm not making this up. FUV, like watch FUV, guys. It is
Great
the
job, guys.
What it is the 420 level. Like look at the chart, man. It is. I'm not making it up, man. Look at it run away from that price, $1 to 320, then a pop 325 through 4. So look at the $4 to 420 is all kinds of chop the last time it got there. So I think this one gets choppy in this range, and you don't want to be chasing necessarily that top. You can consolidate and break out from highs like that. And this is what I kind of mean. Like when you go to the daily chart, you get a better sense of what I'm talking about here. You got the 50 period as well, sitting at that 420 level. So when it gets there, it's going to have to chop through and break out above that price. Below that price, I think there's going to be shorters. The volume isn't great. It needs to break there to get exciting. If you're already in a long, congratulations to you. But for us, with only just under an hour to go, over an hour to go, sorry. That has to break 20s for me to get excited about it catching and holding a bit of a bid. So, FUV, it's interesting for me. I think that COG-T at 10-11, certainly a little bit more potential there for some volatility this afternoon. I mean, that kind of goes without saying.
There was another name today, Nike, that showed up on our radar here as a downgrade for Nike this morning. So again, like we saw Lululemon come through last week on earnings. Today, Nike, again, another name that's going to be hit a little bit, come on chart, with China worries and sort of supply chain. And my kid's actually still waiting for his... He didn't get Air Force Ones. What did he get again? Max Air? Max Air, yeah. Pre-days. So he's waiting for those. And they're more than a week right now delayed. So I can stand in here, first spot here to talk about that, 105 bottom. I still think Nike down here, you could probably pick something up on this name. We made that nice bottom there at 109. And sometimes I feel like when names that get downgraded that maybe shouldn't are in this spot, you can maybe pick it up. I feel like we know all the worries here for Nike. Talking about the supply chain, talking about China coming back on board right now. I wonder if a lot of that will get sorted out. Kind of just like how I feel about Walmart and Target. Like, sure, they took more inventory. They're going to figure that stuff out. And I wonder if some retail sides now is something to be bought. And like I said, I know there's a few things that we're going to be talking about with Frank as well, but there is a retail ETF. Like, this is starting to go lower, lower, lower right now. The target is actually now breaking that low that was near. Was it 143, I thought? Yeah, 143.25. You're almost right back. Target battled back. They came out, they warned again, made that nice little move, and now you're right back at this bottom. So watch out for Target, Walmart, and so on and so forth. As I think the retail's been overdone to the sell side, but hey, if no one's spending money and inflation keeps going up, then maybe none of these are safe. So I don't know. I like Nike here, and I thought I liked Target at these levels as well, down to 140.
Thank you guys for pointing this one in the chat. If there's a reason that this is the best community out there, it's because we don't miss much. And that's credit to you guys. It's credit a lot to Brennan, obviously, because he doesn't miss anything. But Roblox, I see only down 5%, but I mean, let's be real, today, only down 5% probably sounds like the right way to describe Roblox, because this was down at $25 and just bouncing off that level. Now you got a double top at 26.5. So pretty strong move here for Roblox if you want some added significance to that level. And I'm telling you, these things line up pretty well. It's now back above its higher low support, which was 26 even. So if you look at it on the 15-minute, like, it's trying to reclaim its previous support level. Like, you're gapping down, bouncing off 25, and then trying to reclaim support. If this market can get back to the upside, there's a heck of a lot to like for a Roblox break, because you got a V-shaped bottom at a significant low and then trying to reclaim significant support. And on top of that, there's at least $2 worth of upside into that play. So, I'm looking at that break like I'm sure a lot of people are, which is almost right here, right now. Do have to watch out for the AMD short and Square as they start to come back in. Microsoft 244 is back on the bid. I might just go back to catching that dip. Brendo?
All right, as promised, Frank Kaberna, Director of Product Content and Creative at the Small Exchange in Chicago, back with us on a Monday to give us his take on not only an important week, Frank, but I think an important day as well, because we've had major moves in some of the yields, as I was saying, to start things off at 2 o'clock there, the 2-year, the 10-year, both through highs. I mean, even the US dollar back to highs ahead of what is to come on Tuesday and Wednesday. Of course, just to kind of give some context here, this all comes after what we got on Friday with the hotter than expected inflation reading. So What do we need to know here? I mean, you want to start off with the 2-year, but I mean, both kind of correlated here, both the 2-year and the 10-year with significant moves so far today.
Yeah, I mean, so much for the quiet period leading up to the FOMC announcement. This is the most active lead into an FOMC that I've seen in a while. To your great point, inflation based, it kicked these markets up on Friday, kicking them even higher here today. And what's really interesting to me is we put out these projections based on volatility for where these markets are due to go the rest of the week. So this is with a 68% confidence interval where this 2-year yield is supposed to trade. And you can see by Friday, it's supposed to stick within 2.8% and 3.2%. Well, Brendan, it's Monday afternoon and we're 3.2% bid, actually 5 basis points on top of that, already outside of this range. And to your point, this is going to be a really wild week because we haven't even gotten this Fed announcement yet. We'll get to the probabilities here in a second, but I do want to just paint this picture of where 2-year rates are, where they've been in the past, and then we'll take a look at what the Fed is supposed to be doing here this week and see whether or not they can calm this market or send it into an even bigger rally. You can see here that, yes, 2-year rates are the highest that they've been since 2008, the first time that they've been over 3% since 2008. And this is really interesting to me, not only for the price extreme, but also for anybody who was trading prior to 2008. You might say that this is a return to normal, whereas new traders might see 3% in the 2-year, Brennan, and think this is a new normal, because prior to 2008, we were consistently trading between 3 and 6%. So this is a really huge level here for U.S. rates. Yes, it's the highest since 2008, but from 1990 into the early to mid-aughts, Brendan, we were trading 3%, 4%, 5%, 6%, really huge inflection point here in this 2-year part of the yield curve, the short end of the yield curve, so to speak. And I'm looking here with a little bit more time in the chart. If we go on to the next slide, I'm looking for some short-term reversion in this market. As you know from Friday, Frank's been short and he's getting shorter here, looking for this part of the curve to just back off to 3% or a little bit lower and not be necessarily a straight shot up to 4, 5, 6% in the glory days back in the 90s for interest rates. And this is a level that we got up to in 2018 and backed off of. And I think that we will see some similar turbulence here, some back and forth in interest rates around this level. I mean, it's been pretty much a straight shot here all of 2022, but at some point, this market does need to see some semblance of back and forth here. And that leads into our conversation. I mean, maybe some of the back and forth comes from the Fed this week, Brendan, because the probabilities, and we could go to my share screen here to talk about it a little bit. The probabilities were 50% or 50 basis points, rate hike this week, all leading into Friday. Friday, those odds of a 75 basis point hike went up from near zero, Brendan, to 20% chance. Now, 30% chance that they hike by 75 basis points. I think if the Fed comes in this week and sees all of this action, all this inflation worry, and they hike the 50 basis points, but kind of talk about how these worries are serious and everything else, but maybe talk down the fear a little bit, you could see this reversion. Now, on the other foot, if they go 75 basis point hike and they talk about how they're monitoring a lot of risks here, and that press conference that comes out Wednesday after the actual rate decision is even more hawkish on rates. Oh man, hold on to your seats there, because this might be a further run up to 3.5 or even 4% for rates. What are you thinking?
Absolutely, and it's going to be so important, as you said. You know, the comments that come with this actual decision and the language that is used, as we've seen over the past couple. You know, the market hangs on literally every single word. I want to get to some of the stocks and how this is going to affect the overall NASDAQ specifically, but let's talk about the STIX contract that the small exchange has. How are you kind of portraying this into the world of stocks, and what do we see here?
Yeah, it's really a fine line, and I'm sure you know this from different points in time when the Fed has gone from hiking to cutting, from cutting to hiking. Stocks, their relationship to rates really break around these events because, I mean, 9 days out of 10, or even longer term speaking, 9 years out of 10, rates and stocks tend to go in the same direction. If everything is going well, then rates are increasing and stocks are increasing. We're not seeing that. We're seeing huge amounts of volatility come in on the stock side. I mean, right now we're mining these lows in the NASDAQ, in the small technology here, which is a smaller equity index future around technology stocks, very highly correlated to the NASDAQ. I mean, NASDAQ's down almost 4%. This index down 3.5%. And I know you wanted to talk a little bit about our SM75 product, which is, energies and materials and industrials as well. Everything here heading lower as that turbulence kicks in, the inflation fears causing rates to be projected higher, being worse for stocks. But at some point here, I'll be really interested to see if stocks can actually pick up and see some of this, rate hiking environment, hopefully dissipating some of the inflation fears and leading to hopefully, when all is said and done, when the Fed is done with its hikes in the next several months, a stronger stock market, but definitely some turbulence here, especially in that tech sector. But actually, as we speak, the energy sector, the worst performer of all the stock sectors here this afternoon, because we're seeing crude oil lower by a little bit as well.
Crazy volatility all session long. I mean, we were down, 2+% at one point in crude oil. We end the day, as you said, around 0.4 here in negative territory after going positive. Want to get your take on the U.S. dollar as well, because we saw, a move right back to recent highs here for the USD again ahead of what is to come on Wednesday.
Yeah, and this is one that I feel a little bit better about, Brendan, getting on the other side of, as opposed to rates here, because higher rates have meant higher U.S. dollars, but Forex has been a good market in terms of when the stock story or the interest rate story takes over, you'll see big moves in Forex, but you'll see a lot of canceling out. And really the next step here, Brendan, is another leg higher in USD would mean some really groundbreaking levels in some of the currency crosses. I mean, we're under right now, as we speak, we're under $1.05 for Euro USD. We're eyeing $1.20 in British pound. If this market takes another leg higher in US dollar here, looking at the small US dollar futures, then you're talking about taking out some historical extremes that have held through big items like Brexit and just huge volatile times of the past several decades here in that currency cross space. And so this is one that interest rates, I told you, we're at those highs for the last decade or so. But if we do return to that previous normal of the 90s and the aughts there, we could see 4, 5, 6% rates. US dollar here, I feel a little bit more comfortable with building in, a contrarian play going against the trend in here, because I think at some point these inflation woes and everything that's running up US rates will bleed over into these other economies. And hopefully you see a US dollar that reverts relative to those other currencies that have just been getting hammered here the last several weeks.
We mentioned it briefly there as far as some of the resource, the metal plays go as well, also going to come into play when we're talking about higher US dollar, obviously higher rates going to lead people into those safe haven areas. The gold product, the metals product from the small exchange, give us your take on that for this week.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a good place to conclude in here, because when it rains, it pours, right? We're seeing across any stock sector here, wherever you have your investment, everything is down. And so even though you may think you're diversified in the stock market, when volatility spikes and the market gets crushed, everything gets crushed in there. What's nice is to have Forex or this metals piece here as true diversification plays, because higher rates have meant lower gold prices, lower silver prices. But I could definitely see, same way that I could see US dollar reversing a little bit, I could see a little bit of a bid tone here in gold and silver at some point. Of course, the direct relationship is higher interest rates, lower prices for non-interest bearing gold. Why would I want to hold that when I can hold risk-free debt that's paying me 3 or 4%? But we've seen the kind of indecisiveness around metals. I mean, last night, gold opens higher on the futures open. And so I like markets like this that are, yes, at extremes, given all the volatility in stocks and rates, but that indecisiveness lets me know it's a diversified play, and I can get on the other side of it for, an intraday scalp or a 24-hour trade or a short-term play where I could buy metals, maybe gold and silver see a little bit of a bid while stocks and interest rates still circle their extremes. So I like all of these diversified plays, pushing yourself to get into Forex, get into metals, and into, Brendan, I'll leave you with this, one of our favorite plays, one of our best plays of the year, the yield curve inverted once again when you're looking at the 10s versus the 30s. I think that's a nice, good diversified play as well, as I'm eyeing right now, 3.35% in the 10-year, 3.33% in the 30-year. Man, a lot of different plays to get going here on Monday afternoon ahead of an FOMC that we haven't even hit yet.
Give us your take here when it comes to Wednesday specifically. Let's go both ways. If we get more hawkish, if we get, the 50 basis points plus a, let's wait and see type of speech, where are you going to go first?
My big play is that last piece that I just hit on, which is a yield curve steepening play whereby I've got a yield curve spread on. I'm short either the 2s or the 10s, and I'm long those 30s, just because that's a less risky play. Even with the huge movement today, 10 years now up 20 basis points, the yield curve spreads are pretty much at a scratch. They're all up about the same amount. So I'm reducing my risk there, Brendan. And I think that it's a higher probability play, like I say here, if that Fed does come out super hawkish and super worried about inflation in that press conference, you'll see rates up across the board, but you could see that yield curve really kind of normalize even for a more hawkish speech in there. But that being said, I'm biased, I'm on the short end of these rates. This might be a classic scenario where you've got the huge rally in rates before the event even occurs, Brendan. And if they do come out hawkish on Wednesday, I wouldn't be surprised if you see an initial rally and then a little bit of a sell-off in rates, because if we're up 20 basis points on Monday, that's a full rate hike worth of rallying. Even if they come out super hawkish and they hike 75 basis points instead of 50, man, they price that in on Monday, man. So it'll be a really interesting one here for rates. But I do like the spread play that is maybe a little bit higher probability and a little bit lower risk than going in either short or long rates, which will make for a very interesting Wednesday in your P&L.
Yeah, lots more to come ahead of Wednesday and obviously after Wednesday as well. We appreciate the time as always. Frank Kaberna, Director of Product Content and Creative at the Small Exchange over in Chicago. Have a great week, my friend.
Thanks, Brennan.
Take care. Important days, guys, for the overall market.
Very interesting ideas. Yeah, to say the least. Frank hit it right on the nose there when he talked about what an exciting Monday this happens to be. We're only in Monday here, right? And so raising rates environment obviously coming through, and lots to look at. Well said there by Frank. So the trading continues on this side. I don't know. I don't know if we're too worried about energy right now. It was a nice little dip down, so we respect that kind of a move here today in energy. But we definitely looking at some of those numbers at the pump, and I just feel like consumer is maybe the next leg to drop here. And what I mean by that is that's why I highlighted retail before we went back over there to Frank. When you have less money, and if mortgage rates start to become an issue with this rising rate environment, how many people are on variable versus fixed? Do they understand the kind of effect that this can exactly have on sort of your month to month as you go there, let alone food costs, things like that. So I am a little nervous a little bit about that, the retail space there and the strength of the consumer.
Yeah, and I think that you have to take a very cautious approach. I think overall, to any longs, right? Like it just, look, we had a really long bull market, and I think adjusting and adapting is something that is not an easy thing to do. Like you get accustomed to a certain style of trade, and you can't sit there buying dips or thinking this valuation makes sense or that, or oil can only go this far, or you can only have this much volatility in the US dollar. It's just, you have to throw a little bit of that out the window when you're taking a higher look at things. I do want to jump back to just one small cap here. We'll get to AMD in a second. The market, we're still in the same range, but the ES is at the bottom right now. I think that's why some of the shorts are starting to look good. But I did get into COG-T a couple of times here off of this $10 failure. It did have a wick top, so I did get wicked out, which I'm pretty much always willing to do. It then failed the 10, consolidated here. I got the 85 short. I actually just canceled a bit. I'm going to move it back into the 60s here. It's been a pretty strong name, but I do want to play this, down into the 60s. If it breaks 50, probably back over to this 930 level. But AMD's been battling this 18 over and over again. We're now back rolling over on AMDs. I try to ring the register on the first little bit. I don't know. We'll hit this one because it's like arrows down for just about everything. But AMD now rolling back over. It failed that resistance at 88.5. Looks like we're headed back toward the low of the day, which is about 87 3/4, 75s. I'll get some out in front of that and then go from there. NEO, by the way, you know what? Like the day that you don't play off a 16, like I'd be sitting at 1601 long for like 15 minutes now. Like it's been 16 on the bid and it's short sell restricted, but it just broke it now. So now I need an uptick. Give me an uptick. Phil, yeah, no, I'm on the offer. I crossed to 95s, but it's SSR, so no uptick, no fill. So that's me getting absolutely nothing at 95 on NEO. That is the problem sometimes with a stock being SSR, is you can love the break all you want, you can throw your order out there, but if you don't get an uptick, you're not getting the fill. So no short for me on NEO on the 16 break. But you know what? If you don't put the order out there, obviously you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So I was never going to get the fill if I didn't try getting the 16 break on NEO, but I have missed it.
Yeah, you just saw me pop into Microsoft there. That's a mistake. We're just going to cancel. I'm just realizing now I have some orders out here that we're definitely going to need to cancel here. So Microsoft was one of them. Look at what's happening right here, though, for Meta. You want to talk about a name that we just destroyed right in front of you? This is $1 now in the money on the averaged in price. So here it comes all the way back down in. This is the low of the day. It's your trade of the day. It's averaged up into the 50 period. Now brought all the way back down, 90 cents in the money right now for META, Meta right now. So a nice little move downside for them. It's at the bottom. Our best out is 166. We just got it right now, 166.15. So yeah, almost out of that Meta trade. I punched right away out of Microsoft. So there it is right there. I'm going to get out of the rest of these softies. This is a mistake, and I just don't want it to look like that we're short. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was going to quickly say there was a question. It's a good one, and I said uptick. What's the criteria for an uptick from VXS? An uptick literally means any print off of the ask.
Market's going here.
Right? So like here's level 2, guys. You have your bids on this side, you have your ask here, and I understand, look, man, it may seem simple to a lot of people, but I don't care. This is your bid, this is your ask. Any print where the last print comes from someone buying and removing liquidity from the ask. So people offer a price and a buyer comes and crosses the spread and aggressively removes liquidity. Then you get a green print on your tape, at least that's how I have it set up, and that is an uptick. That is someone aggressively buying the stock. Simply, when it's on SSR, unless the last print is somebody buying from the ask, you cannot sell to that bid. And when it's breaking 16 on NEO, obviously people are taking that level. People are selling to that bid. You can always sell out of any position you have long. They'll never take that away from you. But you do have to watch out when you're trying to get that breakdown short. So that's what I meant by that. I have to watch out for some of these shorts because, as you said, Sean, I typed in AMC instead of AMD. As you said, a bit of a bid happening. So I just got some shares at the low of the day on AMD. And if it gets back to 18, 25 to 50, I'll probably end up reloading that trade. But do have to watch out. Even Square here catching a bit of a bid. Even Block here catching a bit of a bid. I'm playing this back to 65 VWAP, but I should have maybe got some shares out here at the low of the day again at 63. So play inside of the range until we break it, which has been a bit of a trouble here. I know the trend is clearly to the downside, but every time I pop up my ES chart, it is worth noting, here's your 38, there's your low of the day. We're not really breaking back above. We're not really retesting the low. So the market is diddling in the middle of a weak range, but that means you've got to find levels that you can play. So for me, pop to VWAP, I short that. Pop to resistance, AMD, I'll short that. Got to find some long trades. I mean, obviously, NEO, it could reclaim 16. If you got 99s, okay, fine, you scalped a 10-cent winner. I think that's come and gone. If it reclaims 16, maybe there's a bid to be had there. Tesla, which we had talked about pretty heavily, because the news sort of both ways. I mean, Larry Ellison news, you had the split, which on any other day, that's a good thing. Today, probably doesn't matter as much. It still can't make up its mind at 650. It's just trying to shake you out in either direction. And I think that's why I want to stay away from it. We talked about that COG T. This one seems like it's doing the first part of that thing where it puts a wick top at 10, consolidates lower, but it's not exactly falling apart here. So I wouldn't say the bulls have given this stock up. You can look at how cleanly it was moving to the upside before its last parabolic movement at 10. And I just think this is more a playoff of what happened at 10 on Friday. Like, it was a hard rejection of that level. So I think playing it back into 9 at best is the play for me. I don't want to fight this stock too much because it has been strong a couple days in a row. So I'm going to get out. If it pulls back to 9, I'll be happy to get out of this. Microsoft, low of day right now. You don't want that to crack. That's been, I mean, I don't know where's Apple now?
That's what I was just going to actually talk about it. It's right there as well. So you are really close here with Apple, with Microsoft. Well, you're already short AMD. Our Meta is now $1 in the money. That's obviously rocking and rolling here to the downside as we get ready. But I wanted to be very, very specific with my Apple trade. So we just got out of it because, again, we didn't want to hold it. We are going to try to not try. We will. I keep saying that. Not try to do something. We are going to do this. We are going to average in now that we're out. But we're going to take it before this rate coming up, man. 132. There's no point in standing in front of these falling knives, man. I mean, it's. Let's be perfectly honest. We just had Frank on. We talked all about rates. We already know what's happening there, and it's not good. It's not good for the consumer. And I want to shout out to somebody on the chat there. They said they had 3 different businesses in the consumer's week and all. So, I mean, sorry about it. I forget who it was here. But Neil's want me to rate Neil's 2-pop performance 10 out of 10. I mean, I don't know how much you practice that, but if you didn't.
Practice?
Exactly.
Actually,
so there you go. I mean.
Who was I? Who asked me about this? It was someone actually asked if I rehearsed that.
Yeah, gee.
And one thing I actually said is, like, when I used to do like presentations or speeches, or I actually hosted a talent show once back in like junior high, I don't believe in like rehearsing. I find like that's actually like almost like not the wrong way to go, but it just was never what worked for me was to rehearse. Like, I like to, like, you know your notes, so all I did is I played it over in my head. Like, all I had to do was essentially come up with a few word changes I was going to make, because quite frankly, I don't know the radio version of the song. So I was like, okay, well, what lyric can I say for this? I was just going over in my head to make sure I didn't curse. And then once I had it in my head, it just, you just got to feel it, man. It's POC. Like, I've been in the car jamming to that so many times when I was a kid. It's like, that's muscle memory, man. You're screaming you're screaming it in the car when you're a certain age. I'm not going to say what age, but, so I'm used to it. Brendo?
All right, just saw Boeing, guys, make a day low there. Don't see any headlines on this, but big volume spike you can see came in at day lows. Even Boeing, almost 10% today.
Someone said that.
Take another leg out of it. This COG T just keeps on finding bids here. So 950 just caught a bid. So I'm going to take another leg out, and I don't want to hold the whole thing for 9 even. But yeah, Boeing. Somebody mentioned this morning, right? Like,
Jim Cramer's a genius.
Well, I mean, look.
Tongue in cheek.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Exactly. Because really, like, anything's gone down. So, I mean, he's getting out when everything went down. But the right call is the right call. So I'm not gonna crap on him. But the miss on Boeing was, here's another one of these floor breaks. Here's 117. I think we can all see that. You're gapping down. You're breaking a monster level on the daily chart. On the 15, just as significant. And look at how many times it gave you this chance in the afternoon to get in off that 117 level. It's not so much that it breaks. This is like square, block. It then gives you this. Holds consolidation right on that shelf and then says, hold my beer, we're not going higher than that price. That was your previous support. It gets back there. People are running to sell it. And I think that's the kind of environment we're in. It's not that you assume support becomes resistance, but it's that, sometimes you just almost have to. Like, once it happens, actually, no, forget that. Once it happens, you respect it. I think that's what's the best way to think about it. The second you see previous support turn into resistance, you start respecting that level and join the trend. Because in a bear market, you can either be, go long something that's inverse, You're shorting off of key levels. You're taking breakdowns. You're buying only the best names that are relatively strong at good prices, right? And if you're not doing that with a long position, then you're probably losing. I'm not saying you are losing, but you're probably going to be in trouble. Like I can't see anything other than Apple that's holding a good support level. And I'm not sure it will manage to for the rest of the day. We'll see.
Yeah, and I'm actually, anyway, shout out to my wife. She just put in the calendar, Handmaid's Tale Season 5, starting sometime in September. So I guess I already know what I'm watching come September. She had a cameo in one of the Handmaid's Tale episodes there in Season 3. But okay, quickly here, she was Caged Woman #1. So I don't know if that was a cameo or I won't go into that. Okay, let's just move on that one. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. So okay, here we go. Apple right now just came in to the level, but we did not get long. So we're waiting here. We're waiting at 25 was where my bid was. We got as low as 28 right there. So coming in right now is Apple. I want to stand in front of this. I do want to take this level. And again, it's down 3.5%. It's a little stronger than the market. As the market fades out here, we have the banger of the day. I mean, not of the day, and we've had a lot of trades today, but Meta's been failing all afternoon. Ever since we took that 170 there, we danced with a little bit of a long. It said no thank you, went back down, so that's fine. Like in, out, there's a bunch of outs there. Then the break of that 168, we're gone. Then we averaged in, we took the advantage here of a move up, and sometimes you need to do that. When stocks, I mean, I was taking the low break of the day. Then as it moved up into the 50 period, would have loved to have another tick there. We were actually waiting near 168. Like we said, I've canceled that order. So take advantage of moves down. And then when we came into at that time, near bottom of the day, we started taking some out. So let's do that again. We have enough shares on board that we can do this. So we'll just bid out. Neil, I just typed in FB to get out of this one.
I've done that. That's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
I've done that at least like 5 or 6 times.
Yeah, no big deal. That might have been the first time for me, although it's pretty recent change there. So Meta, here we go. Give me that 71. There. There it is. Okay, so a nice little win there. Yes, sir. We will go smoking on that one because that was a great trade there for Meta on the downside. So we just took out $1.40, and we're going to hold out the rest of this one. And again, Apple just bounced. Like, normally I'm long now. You saw me get out of that last piece just so we could focus on where we wanted to get this long. That was like 5% left, not even maybe, of that trade. But now it just dipped again to 132.30. Oh, that's right where it is right now. All right, I'm just going to take a small long here, started at 35. And of course, then it just
yeah.
There it goes. So now we'll start a small long there. So we are small long against 132. That's all. We're not going to hold it through 132. It breaks down there, we'll be gone. I don't care if I wick bottom or not. That's going to be the trade right now. Apple holding out on that 132 bid. Let's see if it wants to rock, because if it does, I'm here to roll. So let's see.
And I just want at least a tiny little bit of credit because I didn't make any joke or comment when you said Caged Woman number 2?
I think it was number 1.
Number 1.
Well, it could have been number 2. I'm going to ask her.
And here's the thing, I know a little bit.
This is how I type her. Caged Woman number 1 or 2. Let's see if she understands
I know it's an epic show, but remember I told you the only reason I haven't seen it is because I believe if something is a legendary or epic book, then I always read it before I watch it. But I have started and stopped.
First of all, Apple.
I have started and stopped reading that like 3 times, and I can't do it. So I might just have to actually watch the show. 63 on square, double bottom at the low of the day. That's a big even level, so... when that happens, take the profit out. We're going to grab the $1.50 there. And if 63 breaks, I think we're just taking a low break. This is a double bottom on block, down 13%. It's going to be like Neo, right? It's down 13%, so it's SSR. You might not be able to get the bid, but you can't get it if you don't try.
We just, too many Red Bulls. Yeah, no, Playmaker, come on, bro. I've actually having a Red Bull since with my wife at a club probably a while ago. Then one of our friends. Yeah, I'm talking about, well, we were at a club last night, but we weren't drinking Red Bulls. But one of our friends, I'm pretty sure you might have been there, was running around with his shirt off one of those days. That was one of the days when I had one of the last Red Bulls. I'm talking about 20 years ago. So no.
Yeah, but now you got me thinking about it. So I'm trying to picture
all of this. If I told you who it was, you would probably remember. Maybe you weren't there, but we'll talk about it after. Okay. So there goes Apple. Nicely done. Neil and I are friends from like grade 6, 7, 8.
The problem is now I am legitimately trying to think about it because it also could have been a night that I just might not remember.
Yeah. There's Apple. One more time. We got that 25 in, and we had a decent. That's our, like, you know, again, we're holding against 132, so we'll scalp this out, man. I mean, I'm not going to be the guy that sits in here and says, oh, I have long Apple at the bottom of the day. No, I will be in and out of this name as fast as possible here, AAPL. I want to get more shares, so that's part of the reason why. If it does come back in, I still want to respect that 132. I'm literally out of half. It just, there it is. See, now we have more shares already on this name. So Apple incoming right now, 132 about to break. And this is why we get some out, man. Apple about to break. Meta now $2 in the money. And here goes Apple right back up. Okay. All right.
Apple
I mean, if you really want to let me make this much money, I'll do it, man. There goes Apple. I just bought. Yes, sir. Hello, Apple. Let's do this. This is the kind of stuff we're talking about. Hit the sirens, send the Red Bulls. Let's go. Here we go. Nice little move to the upside, man. Tony on Red Bull might be interesting. Maybe we can have a Red Bull Friday.
I'm not sure you want Tony on a Red Bull.
I won't be having any,
no.
But bang, there it is right there. Let's go. Right in front of your face, guys. All about Apple. I just said why we like this name and that we were going to put on a position. Boom, 132.50 right now. 40 cents in the money on AAPL. 40 cents, how about 60 cents? Let's just keep on going to the upside. We'll just keep taking it out. There it is, 1, 2, 3, kaboom, you're it. Apple, you're it. Tag, let's go.
That was a big spike in the market there. I actually saw Microsoft just won $1. I'm going to get all out of COG-T. That's about to hit that $9 mark. I didn't get 10 short. It's 85, but it's close enough. This is what we wanted. We wanted to see it pull back. It had a break at 9 even, so I think that's why you want to make sure you're covering it. AMD just shot back up. We're staring at 87.5. We're about $1 in the money. And then look at the spike.
Go.
Look at the rally we just had in here. Am I going to still fade it? Yeah, to me, it's a fade till it's not off these levels, but 88.5 has got to be the level. Square, basically the same thing. This market just caught a bid. Did Tesla hold 650?
There has to be news.
Nah.
Oh, there it is. It's Fed officials. Yeah, there's news about the Fed. So, Brendan.
Yeah, they're saying, guys, they could approve a 75 basis point rate hike, according to the Wall Street Journal, as high inflation raises prospectus for exactly what we've been talking about all day long. So the Wall Street Journal just reporting the same thing, which surprisingly is making the market go up.
I'm really just excited that Wall
sense.
Street Journal, their reporters and so on and so forth are watching Trader TV Live. Captain Jorts is back in the building right now as well, so he's going to be trading here.
Did I know he was wearing jorts today?
I don't know, man. This guy's just styling and profiling right now. Look at that out we just got on Apple. 133.30 we got on Apple. We are almost flat on this trade. That was unbelievable.
That was
rip.
an easy fade. Oh my god.
That was like, yeah, especially
that
we
doesn't
don't
make any sense.
I know. Well, see, okay, so this is the thing. Experience in the market means everything, and honestly, like what Neil just said there, doesn't make sense. Like when we're watching here, that's why, as soon as that was happening, why do you think I was like hitting keys like a madman? You know, it turns out that we were able to get a lot out up there. But, you know, it's because the stock started, look at the level 2. Come over to my screen here, Fahad, please, if you can. This is kind of normal action, right? When that was starting to ramp up, it was going 50, 60, like look, even now, right? It's like it's ramping, it's hitting levels like it was going 50, 60, 70, 80. So you knew instantly there was news, right? When we were watching this, and Brad did a good job on his show actually, talking about tape reading and things like that. I mean, this is what I'm here for, man. So's Bandit. If you guys know what that's all about, read that. You're looking at one right now. But 132.50, I mean, here we go. Like, that's what you got to notice. Now it's much more calm. Right? So the news has been digested here about this possible 0.75. This is why, right away at 8:40 this morning.
The bot screwed up that one.
The very first thing we talked about was, what is the percentage chance of that rate? Right? It changed a little bit. So now maybe you get 0.75. I think the market likes 0.75. It came right back in, like Neil said. It wasn't even a fat finger. It was just like, I don't know if someone thought they did an instant reveal there. I don't know what that was, but I'm going to get another piece out. See, so here it goes. So you're starting to see Apple starting to ramp up again, right? So as it goes there, look at it just shoot up. It was just 130, up 40 cents in 1 minute. And look what we did. We just sat there and took it out at 73. So we instantly make a dime better than right now just by sitting here and watching the stock. So sometimes it does pay off to be in front of the level 2 guys.
Yeah, you got to be watching the tape there. Like the spreads on all these stocks just open up huge. AMD, which I was basically like, yeah, we're about to get a shot to reload off 88.50. It got right in the pocket, got to 88.30, and then the bid just you know, went from like a 2 or 3 cent spread to like a 15-cent spread like that. And your only shot was to just cross down. Now, maybe we get another shot to reload on this one. I'm not even sure that's going to be the case. 63 is about to break on block. So, whoops, I actually almost typed in, whatever. It's SQ still. They should just change the symbol or something like that. I hate that because square, block, it's still SQ. 63 has a chance to break any second now. I'm not going to change. I'm going to put that order right back in. I did cancel it. That's one of the first things I always look at. Anytime there's news, if you say the word Fed and there's any kind of news, if I have like a breakout or a breakdown trade in the stock that's going to follow the market, I'll generally cancel it because I would not want to get wicked in at a high or a low when you just had, I don't care what the news is, right? Because you're hoping that you got the right side of the wick in that case. Yeah. But you might have got wicked in the wrong direction. And to me, the downside is just too big. So on the off chance that that was the other way, which it obviously wasn't, I did cancel. I'm going to put it right back in to get square through 63 if it does happen to happen. We'll see. But Microsoft caught a bid there. AMD tried to catch one. There's a couple of other names. I know AERC has been making some moves in the small cap range, and it's not to ignore these. It's not the intention to ignore some of the small cap movers, but if it's not taking a new high and it's not rolling over and capitulating, then there's not a heck of a lot to see. I understand this is relatively strong. It's up 30%, but the volume is starting to die here. It's got a shot to make a bit of a move off 16 to get to 18 even, and most certainly we should be watching it at these prices. Like it's got a pretty significant level at that 18.5 on the daily chart here. So it's creeping and it's getting close to a significant level. I just tend to think we're more likely to see that significant level tomorrow rather than today. There's a square break. It's SSR, so there's no guarantee I'm even getting this fill. But as I've said, for every breakdown trade, you got to at least try to get the order out there. Give me the fill. Give me the fill. Ooh, got it.
Yeah, sometimes you get whatever fill you want. You don't even have to ask that hard for it. Apple, obviously the apple of my eye today. We took another piece out right there at 87. I mean, look at these longs we just put on. But the funny thing about all of this is still being respected at these lows, Meta. So, Meta went up there, fine, but look where it is, man. It returned all the way back. So south side coming into play right now, and yeah, big time movement to the downside there for Meta. So we're gonna have to watch out for that. I'm still gonna be watching some Apple go. Brendan, look, this is a very important time for Brendan. Let's go over to Brendan.
A couple things, guys. A couple little ones actually just moving around here. TALK, the first one, some buyout chatter floating around on this one, the daily buyout chatter stock. Apparently TALK. There's also EKSO. We spoke about briefly this morning, making day highs here on heavy volume.
Case of the XO.
What is that from?
Case of the X. Isn't that a song?
Maybe,
it doesn't matter. I think someone sung that song.
Old Town Road? I don't know. All I know now is these songs that my kids know. There's like a new hot Lil Nas X song. I have no idea.
Okay.
Brad probably bumping that.
I'm going to scalpel.
But all right, Lil Nas X with those Elton Johns. You seen those Uber Eats?
I've seen those.
Commercials? I really like those.
I'm not I'm not going to pretend to know a ton of current hip hop out there, but there are some gems.
I'm not sure
some hidden gems out there. Lil Nas X, I'm not going to pretend to know too much, but I actually do know those. Yeah, I do know some of those joints, and they are pretty sound.
Yeah.
The square break immediately found a big bid at 62.90, and then another one kind of stepped up there for an iceberg at 62.80. So I will scalp that out, and then just try to stick with the trend. AMD not getting that reload is going to kick. That's going to be a kick in the junk because it's now at 87.20. Like it's just we're in free fall here. On some of these names. And I'm not really, I know we're focusing on the names that we're looking at, so, it's AMD, NVIDIA, pretty much the same thing. Like you're breaking through. Although NVIDIA hasn't taken out its low, you still have a chance at 156.5. So AMD has taken the low, NVIDIA is still trying to do so. So some significant price areas starting to come in here, guys, that we should be paying attention to. I'm short AMD looking for any short pops, not NVIDIA. That's not the one I want to play because AMD just a better mover, better levels. Brendo?
A couple of comments coming through from GM CEO right now, just heads up at day lows anyways. She's saying we are selling every truck. Yeah, no kidding. Every truck they can build, they're selling right now for GM. So I was just watching a few of those comments, still down big time. On that note, I have a good friend who's a sales manager at a Kia dealership in Brampton, of all places. He was saying that their dealership has actually been told they've been limited to a certain number of models they can sell. So if somebody comes in and asks for a specific model that they're not allowed to sell, they have to say, sorry, we can't help you.
Really?
I mean that they're not allowed to sell that model because they can't. They don't have enough
Yeah,
inventory.
because they know they can't make the actual delivery. I
Right.
guess.
Yeah. No. I mean that's been a big problem, man, with the semiconductors and everything like that, not being able to get their hands on it. So I don't know
Why would
what
you say
Mary
that name
Barra.
to me? Look at this level at 32.
I like Mary Barra. I believe what she's saying.
do.
But the only thing is like, if you're selling every car you can make, the question is how many are you making? Because according to what Brendan was just saying there, maybe they're just not making that many cars right now if they can't find the parts. So that's another interesting side of that story as well. But hey, look, we started even before we even came on here to talk about trading here in the Power Hour. I like GM and I like Ford. I don't know if the right time to buy stock is right now, but I'm thinking later on in the week, a GM, a Ford, with some of these prices that they're down to is ridiculous right now. So again, not historically they're not ridiculous, but just in the last 2 years here, you're down to basic lows again on GM. If and when this loads up, you'd be able to see, but down to $32. I mean, you can even just go back. Anyways, at some point it will load, but these are levels back near COVID times, man. So I feel like you can buy these names and not worry about them, especially if you had 3-4 year time frame, something like that, and you're not like super worried. I like both those names, man. GM, Ford, Toyota, Volkswagen. A lot of the legacy names I got to
Stellantis.
I got to support Stellantis.
You know what?
I don't mind Rolls Royce as a $2 name.
It's actually worth mentioning, bears mentioning, because I don't think any of us say, and it's because of the name change. We ignore Stellantis all the time, and I think it's interesting. Like they're obviously a huge player in the space, but it is what it is. This market, by the way, I'm going to do this instead of flipping away from the stock because I don't want anything to freeze and then miss out on the chart. But the ES is now, I want to say 5 points, 5 handles off of the morning low. So if you got a short, it's like hold on to it, find a reload, play the trend. And there's only one long that's been working, and I've been saying find something else, please, because Apple's been managing to hold up there. I know Roblox was pretty good. Square's about to break 62.5.
Wait a minute, Roblox is holding up?
Okay, it's down 5%.
Oh.
However, it was attempting to break out. I think that's what people were pointing out. It didn't get through the pre-market high, but it's close enough to it that this is a relatively strong stock.
Yeah.
Caveat being, it's down 5%. Relatively strong in that it's made a strong bottom, and it's still above VWAP at those highs. If we bounce, and this is the kind of stock I'm looking to, where if we bounce off the lows and you start getting some momentum to the upside, well, here's a stock with a breakout chance, right? And it's probably at 26.75, but you know what, 26.75 into 27, if the market's got momentum, then this should have zero trouble making that 25-cent move. But I'm not going long unless we hold the low. Hold the line, hold the low on the ES. Otherwise, it's just play the shorts, reload the shorts where you can find them. AMD is about to break 87 even, so watch out for your NVIDIA. If you've got that, you have to pay attention to that because you're finding bottoms everywhere. Tesla's failed 650. It's headed down towards its low of the day, about $1.50 from that right now, as we go back to Brendan and one of our favorites on the desk with him.
It's no surprise. Justin Kozach is here, Day Trade the World marketing guy, to give us a preview of the next note from Day Trade the World that's coming out tomorrow morning. It's an important week, as we were saying, for the overall market. Give us a preview.
Right. So coming up tomorrow at 2:30 Eastern Standard Time in the morning. I won't be up writing the newsletter.
Sure you will.
Of course I will be, because I'm all about marketing and Day Trade the World. And I say that with no sarcasm. The next newsletter for the opening bell coming out tomorrow morning. So make sure to subscribe at daytradetheworld.com/opening. We'll be covering something around trading imbalances. Sean will be sharing some tips and strategies, as well as ways to trade a belt hold line. So we'll be having some of that content in there as well. And of course, a very quick summary of the Fed. So if you're fed up with the market, now you can be fed up with the Fed. So make sure to subscribe to that, daytradetheworld.com/opening. Yeah, that's it.
See what he did there?
Yeah.
I like that.
Just puns all around.
Yeah, great information, guys. Bi-weekly newsletter comes out 2:30 a.m. because Justin likes to work a lot. Sign up today, daytradetheworld/opening or open?
Daytradetheworld.com/opening.
Opening, ING. Go right now, do that.
Yes.
Justin Kozach, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
There he is, nice and quick. And look, it's all about getting information out there, and that's why we love it. Justin has a good higher time frame look and a lot of fun. And if you can never have too much information as long as you understand what your trading plan is going to be, right?
Yeah,
like you don't want to do overload, but you like things that are nice and concise, which is exactly what you get with that morning note. And you're gonna get right now the low on the ES just got hit, breach, not yet. There we go. It just ticked the low. Here's Tesla. It's about to break its low at 644. Oh, goodness. I mean, I have some shorts already on here. AMD just took 87, so that's now $1.30 in the money. Block, I should say. This is continuing to try to make the breakdown. We had a couple of shorts on Block. The first off VWAP, but now it's the 63 jailbreak. There aren't really, I don't have levels to give to you outside of, get some out when it hits an even round number. Or if the market tries to catch a bit of a bid, which at this particular point I'm not seeing. Yeah, levels, don't get me wrong. Like, levels can matter. I just sort of feel like a lot of the times when you break fresh lows, you're just talking about the next even number. And even something like NEO, which took out that 16, like this is, for a day trader, this is still working for you. The reason why NEO isn't falling faster, has a ton of liquidity. It's all very liquid stock, and it's SSR. So it's really just slowly grinding down. I feel like a lot of the sellings come into it. It's not catching a bid, but like no one's pounding that bid and able to chew through the liquidity because it's so short sell restricted. And that's about the only thing holding it up. Whereas, if I went to a Rivian here, this is what I mean about flipping to too many symbols here. A little bit slower. Actually, no, Rivian's holding up better than I expected. I would have expected to see Rivian through this low already. I knew it had a bid at 26 random, which is 26.37 or 26.35. Rivian's holding the low. I'm a little bit surprised by that. So, cue Rivian for a bottom break any second now. I would have expected this be right through that low of the day and already at 26, and we'd missed the break.
So we have a few things, obviously, to discuss here because, you just mentioned Rivian there. We have Facebook, Meta. Come on. Meta right now at the day's low as well. So that's a name, obviously, that's come and gone. And, I mean, we shorted this one to start, and now you're $3 in the money on this trade. So, and then I just wanted to just in right now, we did take this trade on. So we did take one more position here. It is Apple to go. Sorry about that. I was looking at that Facebook trade. We do have Apple now in that long off that level. I was looking at the price. We just got 15. So our out should be still triggered there if we do take down 132. We don't want to be in this one for very long. Whoopsies. But we are willing to be into it. Cancel. Right there. Okay. Almost punched out there by accident. We'll wait. Here it comes back in. We are getting ready to rock and roll with this name. So, Apple's going to be obviously on our radar here to try to get some out if we get back to like 25. That's sort of what I meant to do there. So if we get back into 25s, we'll take that. But right now, Apple, very, very little trade here, man. If we break, then great. If not, then we'll deal with it. Right now, Apple 132 O's is going to be the breaking spot for me. So let's see if we can bounce a little bit. We did this last time, and then we got lucky. I mean, Apple, like that news didn't have to come out when it did, right? It was the Fed rate news there. So obviously, here he goes. This is not lucky this time. Hopefully, Apple will come up, print us out. I guess we're lucky to get filled as we're at 25, and it just bounced off 25 twice there. So a little unlucky, but here comes Apple. Again, we're buying it against that 132, not because we think the market's bottomed here. We're just trying to scalp this out. I was just trying to take 10 cents. It bounced off me twice there. Hopefully we'll be able to get it out right now. Just a piece for 10 cents on Apple. Then we'll see if we can get some more out in the 40s.
Yeah, you got to watch out for, give me a break. Like, just about everything is capitulating. It's either holding lows because it's SSR, so it's grinding slowly, and if it hasn't gone SSR, it's making lows. Oh, I just had target. There we go. COG-T got all the way to VWAP, so I could have held on to it. I obviously did not. But Microsoft's getting real close to 240. So, I mean, wow, that 244 level, I talk about shelves getting broken. I just went long in front of it. I took a square break, but I wouldn't take a softy break. That's like $2 now, getting to that 240 even level, which if we get there, it's a nice round number. And we talk about now round numbers mattering. We only have 25 minutes, so it's a little bit unlikely. So I might have to sit that one out till tomorrow, but watch out for 240 potentially tomorrow. Alibaba, another one I wanted to talk quickly. If it's not making a low right now, I don't care how bad it is, then it's not as bad as it could be. It definitely has a chance to catch a bit of a bid. So worth noting, BABA, which is already down 11% or 10.5, catching a 98 bid. This morning, it did stall out at 97.5. Nothing incredibly significant about that. It's in the middle of this range here in front of that 50-period moving average, but I like this 98 level on Alibaba. Some relative strength as it's holding a higher low in this market. And we have broken back above the previous low on the ES. That's why I'm looking for just a couple of scalp longs. We'll go BABA. It's making a higher low. That's better than something that's breaking its low, obviously. Beggars can't be choosers.
No, they cannot. But right now we are choosing to take some profit on Apple right there. So we just got out a bunch on 30. We actually got out of half as it went over 30. I think we are best fill there. I'll double check it. I think we got a 30. Oh, no, we didn't. Our best fill was only 28, so we never got a 38. 28. My next offer is at 38. So we didn't get that, but here goes Apple now, 15 cents in the money. All we're trying to do is scalp, man. Like, we're not trying to pretend like we have the bottom picked here on Apple or anything like that. But here it comes back to the upside. Hopefully we can grab this and then hold on to the rest until the close, to be honest with you. I mean, I'd be pretty happy with this name into the close. So we're going to do that one more time here and see if we can hold it. Meta, we've already talked about that name as that's coming down to the downside now. But a nice little bounce back. 165.50, we're going to get out of that one. We don't want to be in things forever, but 165.50 out for Meta. But there goes Apple. There's my 38. We got that 38 fill, so now that's starting to go through 40s. And again, here we go, man. Mamma mia. One more time here for Apple. See if we get some out in the mid 40s. But there it is, man. Nice little downside move here. Or sorry, upside down into Apple's strength, where we know there is some at 132. At least there's support there. And a nice move back up. We are now out of 60% of that trade. Again, scalping in and out 20, 30 cents as we go. So shout out to my friends over there at SneakerCon. I see some of your messages, but obviously being on the air, can't really address those. But right now, Apple, nice little move all the way into the 40s here. So let's go upside with AAPL.
Yeah, and to look at the bids, look, a couple of names catching bids. I did jump over to BABA. That's starting to catch a bit off that 98 level. Tesla holding its low of the day, at least temporarily. So anything, I just like something making a higher low as opposed to something testing the actual low. That's just a relative strength. But some names have held this bottom. I think you want to make sure you're paying yourself on any of these lows. At some point, if you hold a double bottom, it can be an absolute jailbreak. But realistically, pay yourself on the way because you're running out of time to get a huge move. It is past 3:30, and we did get an early look from Financial Juice on the imbalance. It is a whopping 43 million shares to buy, early look from Financial Juice. And I shouldn't have to tell you that is a very small number. It's about as insignificant as you're going to get for market imbalance when we've seen the volatility that we've seen today. So I don't think the imbalances matter. That can change wildly in the next 10 to 15 minutes when they finally come out, and there's lots of room to go. I can't ignore the fact that on Square here, we're bouncing 25 pennies or so. We got into this a second time, but if we're going to make these bounces, I don't want to turn this into a losing trade. I want to make sure if it breaks back above 63, I am getting out. So I'm going to put a trail on that. AMD, very similar. AMD just bounced off 87 a little bit here. The trend is still fine. Got to zoom in to get rid of that wick. The trend is still good for AMD. We got the 88 break. It tried to curl over. Yeah, the crazy wick with that Fed. I mean, they're good for 75 points, but the market spiked. It's continued to fade, but it's holding a bit at the even number at 87. So I'm going to pop a trail on this till 87.5. We'll lock in some profit there. I just don't want a 350 to hit, and we're sitting there hoping for an 85 bid that's not going to come till tomorrow.
Yeah, that would be a problem, obviously, here as we go. All right, so just so you guys know, we are very, very light now on Apple. We will look to continue to massage this trade, obviously, but I don't think we're going to reload again as it's coming right back in and pretty hardcore right now. So Apple coming back in to 132 flat. We talked about defending this area. We're not going to do that anymore. If it wants to break, it wants to break. Too many times here. You get your hands in the cookie jar. Nah, we'll pass on that right now. So we only have a quarter left of that initial position. So looks like this may be a 15-cent hit on the last quarter. I am actually, now that I might just take a little bit more out right now. This is very conservative, but if I can get some out at 9s or 10s, I really don't think Apple has a chance here. I feel like it is going to break. It wouldn't be down here if it didn't want to. So here comes 132. Ooh, maybe a little bounce off. There it is. Okay, we got some out there. So that's fine. So now we're very light, man. Now we have like 15% left here on app. Did it just break? Okay, I don't know if it just broke there or what, but we just got out of Apple. So Apple breaks, and for some reason Apple breaks and I get out at 132.01. So I don't know what's up with that. We got to look into that.
Yeah, definitely watch out for that. But I mean, even Microsoft is catching a small, slight, minuscule, I don't know what you want to call it, but bid here. But I'm not convinced of it, man. Like the ES just got back to that 4% mark. The NASDAQ is solidly below its low of the day. I might be done trying to catch any bids. I know I just got Alibaba here, but I feel like that takes out this low, and let's just forget about it because it's almost not worth it. I'm not talking about the low of the day. I'm talking about the consolidation low, 10 pennies from where I am right now. Let's just hold on to the short, and let's think about where we can possibly get back in and what some targets should be. I'm not getting the feels that we're bouncing here. Not when we're getting off the low of the day in the ES, and then we're not getting much follow through. And as a matter of fact, I shouldn't say that. If I'm going to tighten up the stop to 10 cents, then I should also just take 10 cents. If all you can get on the long is a scalp trade, then that's all you should do, right? Like if you're these are the bounces you're getting. How many times do you have to stare at this where it's like, oh, if you only risk 5 to 10 cents, it's giving you 10 to 15, maybe 20. Just take it, man. Take it and bag it because you can hold your shorts here. You just can't really take any of those longs and then dig into them. Tesla is one of the weirdest names out here. Like this feels like this is why you can't really trade Tesla because what are you doing? You're either sitting long at 45, risking to 44, which is the low of the day, and praying that it's going to bounce, or you're just waiting for it to break 44 and hoping the market's going to flush from here. And if that's the choice that you're left with, sometimes the best thing to do is do nothing, and if it makes a move, try to react to that move. Like there's a great, fantastic line that Ian says literally all the time. It's Luke and Ian say, don't anticipate, participate. Don't anticipate which way it's going to go. Participate in the move once we pick a direction. That's where your upside is going to be. And we only have 15 minutes to go before we're flat at the end of the day. So we can't hold trades overnight. So there's no chance that I want to rush into something down here. I love Tesla. I traded a lot, but not here. It's about what kind of a low can we make on some of the names that were in the money. I wish Roblox could have given us that opportunity. If the market had bounced, I'm with a lot of people that said Roblox was strong, that breakout should have been great. But you know what? We didn't hold the low. So you don't get the breakout trade, unfortunately. Maybe it'll linger there tomorrow. If we're bouncing again, then file it back. Roblox, 26.75, maybe 27. If we catch a bid tomorrow, then there's your opportunity. But that one's gone. There's no long breakout for Roblox, even though it's set up. Brendo?
Just watching Boeing here, guys. We talked about it a little bit earlier, trying to make a day low, trying to bounce now, still down 9.6%. Comments from the CEO saying he's staying bullish on the industry airplane demand right across the board, as robust as he's ever seen as far as demand is concerned. So trying to save the day here, the CEO for Boeing, guys.
All right. Well, we'll take it. Okay, we can go over and have a look at Boeing, but we are on Meta, obviously, as well, as that's going to be a big one for us. $3, well, it was $3 in the money, trying to get up to that level again. We'll see if it can do that right now, though, but it looks like it's trying to get going here, so we'll have to wait to see what Boeing does, but it does have that nice little bottom one more time for BA, so watch out for that one. 114. I like Boeing, man. I like whenever you can invest in what is pretty much a monopoly, must be a good day. So I like Boeing there. I still think that name works. I like it at these bottoms. I think it's worth looking at Boeing right now. But honestly, I'm just watching this Meta.
So weirdly enough, and again, at this point, I don't think I'll make a trade that's not in one of the three names I have here. At this point, I don't think we're going to see anything else move that is warranted. And I have to think about where I'm getting at a square. I do have a trail on it, but I just talk about stocks that are not at their low of the day. You'd be surprised to note that AMC is not at its low of the day. I'm not saying it's having a good day, so don't at me. And it's down 8.5%. It's getting its butt kicked, realistically. But this is something which, on the daily chart, okay, you have a wipeout bottom at 10, you've got a higher low at 10.20, and you've got right now holding above $11. In all of this, it comes with a caveat that it's rejecting, this thing is rejecting the 50 period, like it's diseased, the 50 period moving average for AMC. It gets anywhere close to it, and it's like, we don't like it, we're just gonna run away. And it's got a wick top through 14 even. But if it can put another lower high and we get a temporary bounce, I'd rather something that didn't, that showed some signs of making a higher low, showing that there were some buyers and not a full capitulation. Either I want a wick bottom through a multi-day low, and then you've recovered that level, or I want something holding higher low. So at least that's in that latter category there, even if it's not giving you, down 8.5%. It's not going to give you the feels here, but that's pretty much all all you can ask for is some minute signs that there could be some longs tomorrow. AMD, I will have to get out. Only 5 minutes until we get these imbalances. I do feel like this is running out of steam. Look at what's now happening at this 87 level on AMD. I mean, this isn't giving a hint. We're going sideways from here. I feel as if I'd be, whoops, and of course, I just accidentally went long. Yeah, I got out, accidentally went long. I actually ended up making 2 cents on the trade, but who cares? If you're going sideways like this and catching support at 87, we know AMD is one of those stocks. A bid comes in, that it's usually pretty good. So barcodes like that in the short, bag the profit and run. It was an 88 short down to 87. You'll take that one every single time. And blocks coming back to 63. So there is a bid starting to come into the market here. So getting out of the shorts is going to make some sense here. You know, I already had a chance to get 62.50 that I didn't take here, but we started the block closer to VWAP, and this is the reload that we should have had at 64. Instead, we get the 63 breakdown.
All right, so I'm reloaded into Apple right now. So, I mean, again, this is back to the upside here. We talked about some of these levels on AAPL. If it breaks, we're going to be gone. This is not a hard trade for me to do this. So, breaks through 132, a little bit lower than that. I mean, here it is. It's just dancing. The low of the day is 90. So, we're right here again. We were actually able to get, I mean, I thought we were going to do it again right there. We just got in at 11 and got some out at 22 right there right away. So, that has been so far a decent level for me here on that name. So we're going to watch out to see if it does hold it. I do have some more outs in the teens just in case we need to, but so far so good here on this Apple trade. Brendan, with only 3 minutes till imbalances.
Yeah, more things moving around here. There was a volume spike, but it's not really doing a heck of a lot. Cassava Sciences, guys, down anyway. Huge on the day. Helios Capital coming out with a short report, it looks like, on Cassava Sciences, saying they intentionally misled investors regarding the scientific advisory board on their drug. So Cassava on watch here.
What should be on watch, and I'm a little bit surprised. I'm not surprised because I think we talked about this at the beginning of the show, the afternoon show at least, that Coinbase, ripped the faces off this morning and then held a 50 level. So I shouldn't be surprised that this bounced off VWAP and held 50, down 12%. And again, I'm not going to pretend that a stock down 12% is, strong in any kind of a traditional sense. However, it's holding a higher low. It has, and let's see what this looks like, right? Like you broke this shelf. You have what now is a pretty strong wick bottom. Like look at that wick bottom, gap down, absolute wipeout low, hold some higher lows, hold 50, and then set up for a bit of a break. What do you think is going to happen if Bitcoin gets back to like 24.5, 25? Maybe a chance at a breakout in Coinbase. Sometimes when it's beaten up enough, it just makes a little bit of sense. So I'm kind of filing any one of these names away, and Coinbase sits there. $50 on Coinbase. Above it, you got yourself some long opportunities. I need to get out of Alibaba here because this little tiny turn in the market, if Alibaba doesn't want to break more than 20 cents in the money, and more, I kind of feel like if we reclaim the lows, BABA, which is holding a higher low, should at least be at like 98.5, and we're 2 minutes away, less than 2 minutes away from bouncings coming out, so I don't need to be sitting in it. It was a decent scalp off 98, but it's only giving you like 30 cents, so might as well just go ahead and take that.
Yeah, so right now there's a nice little pop on Apple, so we just took advantage of that, obviously, as that got back into the 20s. So we're starting to get some out on that as the imbalances are coming out very, very soon, man. We can look at these quickly here. We always get rid of the Amex because we don't care about those. We're going to wait to see the NASDAQ down 4.5%. The NASDAQ imbalances are really the juicy ones today. I have a feeling coming through, but hey, they could all be real spicy. So again, we'll wait to see. These are market on close orders that Neil and I keep mentioning, and it's now 40 seconds away. That number still the same, man. 43 to buy. So we're getting a little bit of a buy side action here. So we'll hold on a little bit here. I don't know if it's going to come through. Like I said, we will hold on a little bit into Apple just to see. These have not worked out for me. So don't think that this is going to go to the upside here. But Apple right now into the imbalances. It looks like we're going to slip again, breaking back through 131.80, and we'll be gone on this one. So the last ditch effort here for AAPL apparently not going to work out, but our meta is heading to the downside with only 5 seconds now. Let's wait to see what happens. 3, 2, and 1. And here we go. There it is. Wow, maybe it's a buy. Maybe it's a buy. Nice. Oh no, just got taken out to the downside. Mixed up there. Apple ripped up a little bit, then it started to go to the downside.
Amazon 2 million.
Yeah, Apple 2 million, Amazon 2 million. So there are some sell side pressure here. Big time moves to the sell side here on these names. Apple and Amazon leading the way here. There goes Apple, south side.
Yeah, I mean, of course, I covered the square short, and again, it's just an imbalance thing. Like at that time of day, I'm usually favoring getting out of my trades, just not taking the roll of the dice there. And it didn't look like it was going to be much of an imbalance. But Apple, Amazon, that got the crazy wick. I apologize for that. That did make a significant move to the downside. Look at Amazon. Look at that move. Like you actually got a legit, like clean 50-cent move off of 104 there, and you're actually racing even lower on Amazon. So you got a lot of names that are just dying here as the market. Fresh lows. ES is not holding on by any stretch of the imagination. Yeah, we're falling apart.
Yeah, hello. It's a hot dog kind of day here today as we go crazy. I don't have the hot dog shooting guy. Maybe that's done on purpose. But there it is, man. Apple downside. And by the way, Meta. This is a big move down to 164. Guys, we're short 167 on Meta. So you can hold it. I'm going to hold this the rest of the day. The NASDAQ's breaking. You're down 5% on the NASDAQ. Yuck, man. Huge selling opportunities here today in this market. We can have a quick look at those imbalances again. Amazon be damned, down to 103. Big move from 104 to 103 on those imbalances. Softy with the sell side as well. Remember earlier on in the day, if you joined us at 8:30, I showed you, well, it doesn't 8:30, but we were showing you about 9:30 there when all these imbalances came through and they were all sell side. So, and look what happened to the day, man. Big time movement. So definitely something to watch out for. Where are these imbalances coming from? Did we get a final number there?
5.6.
5.6.
Everything that you covered. If you covered in front of that imbalance, it sucks because everything. This is the SPY, by the way.
I mean, I just should have shorted Apple.
Flushing through these lows. It's like everything we just got out of. AMD. That just broke the low of the day, so you're seeing that one come down. I told you guys about Block. Microsoft is at its double. I'm not going to make this. There's only 7 minutes to go, but double bottom on Microsoft at 241.50 here. Maybe that's worth filing away as well. But oh my goodness, the market gave it up. And this is one of those. We came in this morning, and it's like play off the key levels because the key thing was that 3,800 on the ES, and it took forever for this to figure out what it wanted to do at that price level. Like we're sitting around and it's like when we finally gave it up, it was a flush. We retested 38 in the middle of the day. It couldn't hold that level and it ran away from it. So like whether it's individual stock, whether it's the overall market, whether it's volatility, you get to a key price level and then just allow it to make a decision. And when it picks a direction off of that key level, then you're good to go. And then once that happened, it was just shorts. Any shorts you could find that set up was pretty much good this afternoon. But that was the ES taking out that 38, just a monster level on the daily. Yeah, fresh lows. We don't know where the market's going to take us, but some names just caught a bid. I showed you Microsoft there, so not all doom and gloom here at the end of the day, but not that great. I mean, we didn't get to 5%, but 4% on the ES, 4.6 on the NASDAQ, and too many names more names than I can count are short sell restricted. So tomorrow, you'll have trouble hitting that bid if you want to.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to look at the big caps for sure because a lot of those mini ones are dead. We got out of Meta for $2.50 on that 164.50 break. We just kept on averaging it down, so we'll fire off the sausage cannon here because that was another good trade. Where is it? Another good trade there for us as now it falls back down, but I had to have an out. So we took 164.50 as an out right there from the 167.20 short. So $2.50. Well, I guess it was from averaged in price short. So $2.50 anyways to the downside. Meta, we had that pegged right at the beginning of the day, man. 950. As soon as we saw that break come through on Meta at 170, it was like, forget about it. We definitely wanted to hold on to that short. Could we have predicted 5% down? Maybe. I mean, you could get the same move down tomorrow. Remember, Fed comes Wednesday. Tomorrow's only Tuesday, so you're going to get, more of the same possibly tomorrow, man. Hopefully they can settle down overnight and we get some talk. I don't know, man. The ECB, like the Eurozone is way behind. Japan is way behind. You think that we're behind the curve? I mean, there's a lot of damage to still come out of this market, and I think it's a dangerous move here to watch. So watch out for Meta here. We're going to watch out for Facebook. That is Meta, sorry. Apple, as that's starting to maybe retrace back up like 130 on Apple. I remember when Amazon Amazon split, Prad said, are we ever going to see a Hyundai? And I remember everybody was like, nah, 100, nah. 101.80. No, but that was 30% down. This name is down 30%.
We had a poll, though.
I don't know what the poll was. 30% down. Let's call it 26% down in Amazon in 4 trading days. Like, that's a lot of bees out of that market cap there in just a few days. So, little weary about retail. We've talked about that, man. The consumer definitely weak, and Amazon spitting that to you every single day. We'll watch out for the Amazon 100 break tomorrow, guys.
Yeah, and look, there's a couple of DraftKings, another name.
Oh, that was one I meant. Yeah, 16.
Yeah, look at the break on DraftKings. There's so many of these shelves that got broken. Look at the 1250 shelf on the daily on DraftKings, and then, oops, why is that New York? I got that one right in the other. Yeah, and then you look at what happened this morning. Remember 1250 on the daily chart. This is at 9:30. You could have just been. I didn't look at DraftKings this morning, so that's on me, obviously. But on a huge level on the daily, it breaks down and it just flushes away from it. It was the same thing with CCL, although you had to chase CCL. Like Carnival, load up. Carnival was below a huge level at $11 when you saw this morning. It was a huge level breakdown on the daily chart, and all it did at the open was die. So you just look for something which is below. I mean, the most obvious of stops, and that's going to give you an opportunity. And then find something which rejects the stop area. Like it runs a bunch of stops and then holds above. You get that set up, and that's where you get the jailbreak bear market longs, right? Like run a bunch of stops at an obvious level at 9:30, reclaim that level sometime before 10 o'clock, and then you can jailbreak to the upside. But if you don't see that and it holds below the level, you just hang on to your short all day long. DraftKings was a huge miss. DraftKings was actually set up better than CCL when I look back on it, but hindsight's 2020.
All right, Amazon, yeah, hindsight's 2020, that's for sure. Apple made that move back upside right now, up to 132, so that's still going. Meta, good. I mean, I was going to say good out because the last time I looked at it was 164.80. Now it's down to 164.20. I mean, Peloton, some of these names, Peloton's not even that far down. It's just it cracked the level, Neil, $10. That was probably. There was probably so many great shorts today, but as we said, Palantir back down to $7.50.
You know what I'm about to check?
I think 780. Sorry, PayPal 73, Rivian 26. Let's check out AMD here before we go because this is another name that we love to trade, man, here on the show. But AMD today, look at that. We had these shorts early at 90. Definitely made some nice money there, about $1. That last piece there. Then we tried a long and got out of the way. And AMD, man, no safe havens here with Advanced Micro Devices. Even that name down 8%. Like what in the?
Yeah, what in the?
Is this the divorce day we talked about last week? Someone said that they may get divorced. Like again, if you weren't divorced last week, the settlement just got a little lighter. If you know what I'm saying.
It works both ways, I suppose.
Yeah.
And of course, I absolutely hope that no one was in that situation. We try to kid around. It's hard for us to tell when people are being serious.
No, I'm just playing.
We had someone in the chat say months ago.
Don't tell your wife everything.
Remember someone said that they were
tell your wife
all
everything.
in on their entire life savings on AMD, and I forget what the price was, and it was like I don't know.
That was 138.50 or something.
138.50.
It was something like that.
So at the time we were just like no, but. They probably weren't serious, so I'm going to assume that they weren't. I just checked Virgin Galactic because I was kind of curious if it was at $5 yet. Not there. But one more day like today, and that'll be a $5 stock. So, there's still some things out there. Nice little bounce, not a nice
Someone
little
just
bounce.
said my wife and her boyfriend left me. That was a good one.
That's what really hurts.
And her boyfriend.
Because what if he's cool, man?
And then I also liked what someone else said here. What's up for Faded Polo? Shout out to you as well. And shout out to Bears vs. Bulls. Thanks for a great job again. Jerome Thanos Powell right now. So, just with the snap of a finger, wiping out almost half. I mean, he's almost did it again, Thanos. So watch out here as this market now in bear territory on the S&P. No doubt about that as we're down to 37.50. Ooh, that's that 30. I mean, the ES is at 37.50 right now. So, I mean, that's that level. Based on that, I expect a bounce tomorrow. Here's the futures. Let's see if we can close above 37.50 with only 30 seconds left. Might not happen, but 37.50 is right where we're at right now, literally 37.51 on the futures.
And 20 seconds ago, it's going to be Tony on the bell. I'm sure he'll have some dance moves for you there. Oracle is the only thing that's reporting. That broke its shelf today, as like just about everything else. But it does give you one shot. Hey man, if Oracle happens to do well, then they could reclaim 67 and run from there. But Tony, dance it, get it on Tony, man. 3, 2, and 1. Out here depriving the viewers of Tony's dance moves.
If there's ever a day when you want to see Tony dancing, it would be today.
Yeah, Fahad.
And Fahad over there, you got a Raptor hat on? What hat is that, Fahad?
What is
Oh,
it?
is it? I can't see.
see because he's got the
We still
headphone
can't see
over
it. Turkey? What is your country? Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, Palestine hat. Okay. Shout out to Fahad there again. I still can't really see.
No, it's because he's covering
there. So all right.
Oh, because Fahad's, you can't see him at all.
He may not exist.
He doesn't exist.
He may not exist.
Who?
So, who? Yeah, Mike Jones. What's up, Brendan?
Nothing.
Hey guys, ugly day as expected, or as we thought was coming. If you joined us right at the beginning of the day, we basically get 2-day lows there, bounced a little bit into the close, but almost 4% for the S&P there. Pretty ugly. 3.8, we'll call it 3% for the Dow, 4.5 for the Nasdaq leading the way. Yeah, it doesn't get any better as you go lower on this board.
I'm actually a little curious. Why did Cisco end the day basically flat? That's not.
Aren't they one of the ones that are reporting soon?
No, it's Oracle.
Yeah. We've had Cisco for a while. I don't know, cybersecurity maybe. I'm not sure what was up with Cisco there, but old tech maybe becomes new tech. Oh man, this is a tough ride, man. This is a very, very tough ride. All right, quickly, Prad's. This is the thing. The guy's showing off his sunglasses here. Look at this guy. Some fake Ray-Bans. It's what time?
Oh, by the way, just
everybody.
Big congratulations to Ian. Of course, we love the midday show. Prad kills it. Luca absolutely kills it. But Ian actually a trainee on the trading floor until today. Today he graduated, so big things and congratulations to Ian. I haven't even had a chance to shake his hand or anything, but yeah, it's a big moment for a trader. We all remember. Well, we remember the time that we graduated. We don't remember our grad parties. I vaguely remember something about people on tables at the Croc Rock for mine.
I think I drove a guy home that night and was throwing up. No, yours.
Oh, yeah. No, not me. It wasn't me. I didn't puke. No, I didn't.
I can say
I got an iron stomach. It wasn't me.
No. It wasn't
I know who it was. I know exactly
it wasn't Neil. It was another Bramptonite, though.
I know exactly.
I'll leave it at that. And it was not Brendan either. So, okay, a big shout out. Yeah, so Ian, Luca, good job today. Shout out to Prad. You just saw him. Thanks to Lucas. Thanks to Fahad as well. Today, a big shout out to Tony. A big shout out to the man with the fade up there, Brendan. Always looking good.
Did you see Ian today?
No.
Look behind you.
Oh, you guys went to the same barber? All right, cool, man, awesome. Brendan and Ian. Well, the thing is, if you want to be the man, you got to look like the man right there, right? And so, great job, and Ian, and congratulations again on that. There he is.
You're on camera, Ian.
There he is. He's got the good hair there. We're always happy to have more handsome hosts to join us, and we're getting close to getting another one. So more news to come on that one. Thank you to everybody. Thanks to Maggie working hard behind the scenes as per usual. Shout out to Liz. Shout out to Katrine. Everybody that's part of our team. I probably missed a lot. Oh, shout out to Justin who came on today. Check the opening bell newsletter from Daytrade the World coming out tomorrow, I guess, early. All right, it's 4:03. The trade of the day's meta. It's starting to go lower. You can catch us tomorrow at 8:30. Don't miss it. We'll be here, Trader TV Live, 8:30 tomorrow. Check us then. Until then, have a great evening. Ciao.